Chapter 74. Grandpa, this time Xiao Chen hesitated and said, "The medicine I want to buy this time is different from the previous 2 times. Oh, different?" The old man's eyes flashed with curiosity. "Let me have a look." Xiao Chen handed the prescription that he had copied to the old man and said respectfully, "Grandpa, can you help me take a look? How much does this medicine cost?" The old man's eyes glanced at the prescription. He clicked his tongue and raised his eyebrows slightly. "Young man, this medicine is not cheap." "I know. There are 2 bitter fruit." Xiao Chen nodded with a bitter smile. To be honest, in his opinion, if the previous medicine cost 20,000, this medicine would cost at least 40,000. In this medicine, in addition to the bitter fruit, this bone-quenching grass is not cheap either. The old man pointed to Xiao Chen's prescription and said, "This bone-quenching grass is sold for 100,000. 100,000? Xiao Chen had an urge to cry. He thought that 40,000 would be enough. Now it became 140,000 all of a sudden. Where can I get this money? However, Xiao Chen was too embarrassed to bring up the matter of discounts again. This is a medicine used by high-level martial artists when they train their physique. What are you using it for? Are you also a martial artist? The old man's eyes were like a sharp arrow, shooting at Xiao Chen. He wanted to see Xiao Chen's background. However, in the eyes of Mr. Chen, Xiao Chen was not a martial artist. He did not have the aura of a martial artist. In other words, he hid it too well. Of course, if Xiao Chen could hide his strength so well at his current age, it meant that he was really terrifying. A high-level martial artist trains his physique? Xiao Chen was also stunned after hearing it. He was not a martial artist. Why would he use something that was used to train martial arts? Martial artists use the bone-quenching grass to temper their bones to increase the hardness of their bones. Cultivators use the bone-quenching grass to temper their bones to lay the foundation for higher levels of cultivation in the future. The elder heaven ancestor's voice rang in Xiao Chen's ears, explaining to Xiao Chen, "Both of them have similar uses. They both increase the quality of the body." So that was the case. Xiao Chen nodded his head secretly. However, Xiao Chen's previous days made old Mr. Chen hesitate. Looking at Xiao Chen's appearance, he didn't look like an advanced martial artist. Moreover, which advanced martial artist would be so poor? "Even if I give you all the other herbs, the bitter fruit will be sold for 20,000 yuan each, and I'll give you a 20% discount on the bone-tempering grass. It's still 120,000 yuan in total. This is not a small number. Are you sure you want to buy the herbs on this prescription?" Mr. Chen looked at Xiao Chen. "If this prescription is useless to you, I think you'd better not waste your money. 120,000 yuan. Xiao Chen clenched his teeth. "Old mister, I will try my best to gather enough. See you later." After saying that, Xiao Chen turned around and left the pharmacy without saying anything else. He knew that Mr. Chen wanted to get information from him. But there were some things that Xiao Chen couldn't say to anyone. What an interesting kid. Mr. Chen looked at Xiao Chen's back and smiled faintly. "Grandpa Chen, isn't the bone-tempering grass 1,000,000 yuan each? Why is it selling for 100,000 yuan, with a 20% discount?" Hong Yen felt that Grandpa Chen took special care of Xiao Chen. "Hee. Our Hong Merchant Association can sell the same thing for 10,000 yuan, or 1,000,000 yuan. Mr. Chen smiled. "Grandpa Chen, do you mean that we treat people according to their preferences? But doesn't our Hong Merchant Association uphold honor?" Hong Yen was a little puzzled. "Honor means that we must find a way to do what we promised others," Mr. Chen said. "As for the price, sometimes it's a kind of emotional investment." Hong Yen understands. Hong Yen nodded, not really understanding. In a private room of a small bar near the second middle school, Lu Zhenming and Yu Xiaochuan sat opposite each other. "Young Master Kun, didn't you say that you would help me kill that Xiao Chen? This kid, I get annoyed when I see him. When can I kill him?" Lu Zhenming was really a little anxious. He didn't kill Xiao Chen on his side, so he could only pin his hope on Yu Xiaochuan. "Don't be impatient." Yu Xiaochuan waved and said. To be honest, he didn't want Xiao Chen to die. It was not easy to send the fat girl Tang Tang out. If Xiao Chen died, wouldn't Tang Tang come back again? However, It was impossible for him to tell this kind of thing to Lu Zhenming. If he said it, Lu Zhenming would definitely despise him. How could he be his younger brother? Therefore, he had to pay attention to strategy. Fortunately, he was a person who planned before taking action. He had already investigated the background of Xiao Chun. Lani, do you know who this Xiao Chun is? Yu Xiaochuan asked faintly. Who? Lu Zhenming was stunned. Who can he be? What kind of background does he have? He is Cheng Minjing's fiancé. Yu Xiaochuan dropped a bombshell. Puff. Lu Zhenming just drank a mouthful of beer, and he spat it directly on Yu Xiaochuan's face. Yu Xiaochuan originally wanted to show off, but he didn't expect to be spat on his face. He suddenly became speechless. Ugh. Young Master Kun, I'm sorry that I was scared by you. Your joke is really. Lu Zhenming picked up a tissue apologetically. Let me help you wipe it. No need. Yu Xiaochuan waved his hand and said, I didn't lie to you. Xiao Chen's identity is the young master of the Xiao family. What? Lu Zhenming's eyes widened, and he looked at Yu Xiaochuan incredulously. Young Master Kun, are you saying that Xiao Chun is the good-for-nothing who was kicked out of the Xiao family? Yes. Yu Xiaochuan nodded. Although Yu Xiaochuan hadn't investigated the matter of Xiao Chun and Cheng Minjing living together, Xiao Chen's identity was easy to investigate, especially for the children of aristocratic families like them. So Xiao Chun can't be killed. His identity is very sensitive. The Cheng family didn't do it. If you do it, won't you embarrass the Cheng family? Especially when you are still pursuing Cheng Minjing. That's true. I really didn't expect that Xiao Chun is the young master of the Xiao family. I thought he was a canon from the mountains. Lu Zhenming was surprised. No wonder Cheng Minjing was so excited when she saw me beating Xiao Chun. It turned out to be this reason. Lu Zhenming thought that Cheng Minjing wanted Xiao Chun to be unlucky, so Xiao Chun can't die yet. But if you want to vent your anger, I can help you, Yu Xiaochuan said. But if this guy doesn't die, can I catch up with Cheng Minjing? When Lu Zhenming heard Xiao Chun's identity, he wanted Xiao Chun to die even more. He has been with Tang Tang. What does it have to do with Cheng Minjing? Yu Xiaochuan frowned. Look at how poor he is. He can only find Tang Tang, a broken shoe that I don't want. Do you think Cheng Minjing will like him? That's true. Lu Zhenming thought that Yu Xiaochuan's words were quite reasonable. Then how can I vent my anger? What does Xiao Chun lack the most now? As far as I know, Xiao Chun and Tang Tang go to the morning market every day to sell breakfast. I think he is poor to a certain extent, Yu Xiaochuan said. At this time, if we let him spend a lot of money, will he vomit blood because of heartache? Sometimes a mental blow is more painful than killing a person. We have to torture him to feel good. That's true, but how can we let him spend money? Lu Zhenming asked modestly. Well, you ask Xiao Chun to come out and tell him that I want to treat him to a meal. At that time, you can see my arrangements, Yu Xiaochuan ordered. A meal? Young Master Kun, do you want to order a table full of expensive dishes and then let Xiao Chun pay the bill? This won't do. This trick won't work. Xiao Chun, that brat, is very cunning. I used this trick last time, and in the end I lost hundreds of thousands. Lu Zhenming felt his heart ache just thinking about it. Luzi, why don't you say that you can't do it? What if I do it? Come closer, I'll talk to you. Yu Xiaochuan waved to Lu Zhenming. Lu Zhenming quickly came over and listened to Yu Xiaochuan's plan. Lu Zhenming suddenly slapped the table and said, This is good. Let's see if Xiao Chun can still act shamelessly. Young Master Kun is more skilled. Okay, you can go. Yu Xiaochuan nodded proudly. In the early morning of the next day, Xiao Chun got up to make money, 120,000 yuan. Xiao Chun was excited when he thought about it. He was so excited that he wanted to cry. Hey, what kind of costume are you wearing? Uniform seduction or cosplay? Xiao Chun came to the aunt's grocery store and saw Tang Tang, who was dressed as a little cook. He was suddenly stunned. Isn't this because our breakfast stall is popular? I think it might be online. So I prepared the dress in advance, so that others won't think it's not formal. Tang Tang said, I also bought a set for you. It's mainly because I go to school every day, and my body is a little uncomfortable. There weren't so many fried dough sticks before, and the smell wasn't so strong. Now my body is very uncomfortable every day. Well, how much did it cost? Xiao Chun looked at Tang Tang, taking out a set of chef's clothes, and put it in front of him. He felt a burst of heartache. Instant kill. 120 yuan for 2 sets, a couple chef's suit. Tang Tang said. Puff, this thing also has a couple suit? Xiao Chun's heart was bleeding. 1,000th of the medicine was gone. Well, put it on. Today we welcome our good business with a new look. Tang Tang said. Okay. Xiao Chun nodded and put on the chef's suit. Then, he went to the morning street with Xiao Chun, and began a busy day. Sure enough, the costumes of Xiao Chun and Tang Tang attracted a lot of tourists in the morning street. Their business was better than usual. Of course, many people came to watch the fun, but they would definitely become repeat customers after they tried the fried dough sticks made by Xiao Chun. Little Tang, give me 5 pounds of fried dough sticks and 10 bowls of soy milk. A middle-aged woman dressed fashionably came to the breakfast stall. She was the owner of a small hotel nearby. She was a regular customer of the breakfast stall. She bought breakfast for the hotel's guests every day, so she bought more things every day. Before Xiao Chun came, she was very familiar with Tang Tang. Tang Tang gave her a discount every time. Chapter 75. Hee hee, Auntie Sue, okay, please wait a moment. Tang Tang responded with a smile. It's okay, I'm not in a hurry. Auntie Sue nodded, and then chatted with a woman who was buying fried dough sticks next to her. The two people obviously knew each other, and were familiar with each other. Oh, old Sue, isn't your husband a taxi driver? There's a good thing, here's an advertisement list for you. What advertisement list? The woman named Old Sue took the advertisement list and glanced at it. Dog search notice? Bonus of 100,000? Is this for real? So much money? A rich woman playing mahjong in the mahjong house next to my hotel lost her dog, and she was so worried. What's 100,000 for rich people? In their eyes, dogs are more important than people. Auntie Sue nagged. This old woman also wrongly said that my guest took away her dog, and she even went to the police. What kind of person is she? Is she great just because she's rich? Oh, what dog 100,000? The speaker was unintentional, but the listener was interested. Xiao Chun, who was frying the fried dough sticks, shook his hand slightly, raised his head, and pretended to ask as if nothing had happened. I don't know what dog it is. These rich people really don't care about money. How long do you think it will take to earn 100,000 by selling breakfast here? These people will be thrown out in the blink of an eye, Auntie Sue said, showing the advertisement list in her hand and shaking it in front of Xiao Chun's eyes. It turned out that it was an adult Tibetan Mastiff. No wonder the bonus was 100,000. It was impossible to get so much money for an ordinary puppy. Xiao Chun glanced at it and remembered the contact number on it. But after hearing Auntie Sue's words, he looked at Tang Tang and smiled bitterly. 100,000 was nothing for Xiao Chun and Tang Tang in the past. However, both of them were people who could take it and let it go. Tang Tang smiled and said, the money is his own. We can't control how he wants to spend it. Hee hee, Auntie Sue, here's your fried dough sticks and soy milk. That's right, little Tang, here's the money. Auntie Sue took the fried dough sticks and soy milk and quickly left the breakfast stall. 100,000. An imperceptible excitement flashed through Xiao Chun's eyes. Looking for a dog? If he didn't have the experience of finding a bracelet for Miss Hua, Xiao Chun wouldn't dare to accept this task. But now, Xiao Chun felt that he should give it a try. In the blink of an eye, it was time to pack up. Xiao Chun and Tang Tang parked the tricycle and went to school. But when they were about to reach the school gate, Xiao Chun suddenly said, by the way, Tang Tang, I forgot to bring a pencil and eraser. I'll buy them. You go to school first. Okay, but at this time, the culture and education store should not be open yet. You have to go to the morning market street to buy. Tang Tang said, don't worry, isn't the exam starting at 10 o'clock today? There's still time. Xiao Chun smiled and said, help me take my bag back first. Today was the day of the mock test. The test would be held at 10 o'clock. There would be one subject in the morning, and one subject in the afternoon. There was still one more day tomorrow. Okay, don't be late. Don't forget that you are going for the scholarship. Tang Tang reminded him. Don't worry. I can't be late for the sake of money. Xiaochen nodded. After saying goodbye to Tang Tang, Xiaochen ran back to the morning market street. He was not going to buy a pencil and eraser. How could he forget such a big thing as the exam? He still counted on the scholarship to buy medicine, although it was a drop in the bucket for him now. However, Xiaochen did not directly contact the rich woman who lost the dog. Instead, he went to a small stall in the morning market street, intending to buy a mask. Looking at the dazzling array of masks, Xiaochen looked at his own attire and casually picked a white fox mask. Just now, Xiaochen did not take off his chef's suit, but he did not want to expose his identity as a chef, so he got a white fox mask with the white coat on his body, which was quite cool. The chef's outfit that Tang Tang got from the internet was actually not a real chef's outfit, but a cosplay style, which was very tight. With this mask, no one would think of him as a chef. Xiaochen did not intend to expose his identity for the time being. He could sell breakfast, but if he helped someone find the dog and found it, what would the Chung family think? Would they doubt him? These were the things that Xiaochen must consider. After buying the mask, Xiaochen bought a SIM card from a stall that sold network cards. Now there were a lot of these foreign phone cards, such as a 5 yuan package, a few hundred minutes of text messages, a few hundred megabytes of data, and so on. Although he did not know where it came from, this person had been selling it in the morning market for so long, and no one came back to ask for a refund. Instead, there were many repeat customers, which showed that it was not fake. Xiaochen spent 200 yuan to buy a card, asked the person to help cut it into the size of an apple, and stuffed it into his iPhone. Although Xiaochen was famous in the area where he sold breakfast, the back of the morning market street was selling daily necessities. There was no intersection with those who sold breakfast in the front, so naturally, it was impossible for them to know Xiaochen. After that, Xiaochen found a place where there was no one, put on the white fox mask on his face, and dialed the number of the rich woman. Who is calling me so early? I'm so sleepy. It took a long time for the old woman to answer the phone. Obviously, she had not woken up yet. Do you want to find the dog? Xiaochen did not talk nonsense with her, and asked directly, do you know the whereabouts of my blackie? The rich woman obviously woke up at once, and asked eagerly, Don't worry, as long as the clues you provide are valuable, the 100,000 yuan will not be less. I'm a detective. If you want to find the dog, tell me where you are. Let's talk face to face, said Xiaochen. Oh okay, my house is in the Lead Huashuyan Villa District, Area D Building 9. The rich woman quickly reported the address of her house, but she did not think that Xiaochen was here to rob her. Not to mention that there were security patrols in the community during the day. Even in his house, there were servants, drivers, and gardeners. Lead Huashuyan Villa District? Xiaochen was slightly stunned. Isn't this the community where I live? Xiaochen also paid attention to the name of this community at that time. Lead Huashuyan was a real estate developed by a large development company in the province. Almost every city in the province had a flagship villa district. Okay, wait for me. I'll go now. Okay, then I'll wait for you, said the rich woman quickly. Obviously, her family's puppy was very important to her. Wearing the mask, Xiaochen ran all the way back to the villa district. Of course, although Xiaochen's weird outfit attracted a lot of attention from passers-by, there was no one who made a fuss about it. In this day and age, people were used to seeing cosplay and extras. There was even Sun Wukong buying train tickets. What was Xiaochen? When Xiaochen ran into the community, a red beetle passed by Xiaochen. Jean Beibei pointed at Xiaochen outside the car and shouted excitedly, Oh my god! Cousin Minjing, look at the white fox spirit. Chung Minjing glanced at him and said disapprovingly, A minor actor. What's there to see? Jean Beibei stayed at home the previous day, and they went to school together this morning. However, his back is very familiar. I feel like I've seen him somewhere before. Jean Beibei said doubtfully as she watched Xiaochen run far away. Maybe he's from this community. Otherwise, how did he get in without an access card? Chung Minjing didn't think too much about it. Oh, Jean Beibei started the car. Naturally, Xiaochen also saw the young mistress in Jean Beibei's car. However, he didn't dare to stop. If he was recognized, his disguise would be in vain. When they arrived at the door of the villa in District D, Building 9, Xiaochen rang the doorbell. Soon, a fashionably dressed rich woman walked out. She looked very young. Xiaochen felt that it was inappropriate for such a young rich woman to dress like this. However, when the rich woman saw Xiaochen at the door, she was shocked and exclaimed, "You! Who are you? Let me introduce myself. My nickname is White Fox. I'm here to help you find your dog." Xiaochen introduced himself. Mr. White Fox, why are you dressed like this?" The rich woman felt that Xiaochen looked a little weird. "Can you take off your mask? Are you looking for the dog or me?" Xiaochen asked coldly. Of course, I'm looking for the dog. If it were any other time, the rich woman might have chased Xiaochen out. She must have thought that Xiaochen was a liar. However, the dog had been missing for a day, and there was still no news. Her husband was the boss of a company. He had many social engagements and had mistresses outside. She didn't have children yet. She only had Blackie to rely on. It could be said that Blackie was like her son. Hence, she wouldn't give up as long as there was a glimmer of hope. "Okay, but we have to talk about the price first," said Xiaochen. "Don't worry. Since I released the advertisement, I won't go back on my word," the rich woman said quickly. She didn't care about the mask anymore. "As for the price, 100,000 is a little low." Xiaochen shook his head. "Then, how much does Mr. White Fox want?" The rich woman frowned slightly. She wondered if this person was a liar. 120,000, said Xiaochen. 120,000? Sure, no problem. The rich woman thought that Xiaochen would ask for 1,000,000 or 800,000. She didn't expect that he would only add 20,000 on top of the original amount. This was nothing to her, so she immediately agreed. Xiaochen looked at the rich woman's straightforward look. He wondered if he was too kind and asked for too little. However, this was his first detective mission. It was okay to ask for less. He was afraid that if he asked for too much, the rich woman would give up. "Let me see where your dog usually lives," said Xiaochen. "Sure." The rich woman nodded and brought Xiaochen into the mansion. They came to a pet room on the first floor. "It's here." Xiaochen pretended to check the puppy's room for a while. In reality, he was just memorizing the puppy's scent and the puppy's photo hanging in the room. "Let's go. Take me to the place where you threw the puppy." Chapter 76. The rich woman saw that Xiaochen was very serious and had no intention of cheating or robbing. She was relieved and looked forward to it. Could this person really find her Blackie? "It's at a mahjong house on the Morning Street. My sisters and I go there every afternoon." The rich woman thought about it and said, "But it's not open yet. Should we go down there?" "Are you going to find the dog or play mahjong?" Xiaochen asked coldly. "Don't. Detective White Fox, don't be angry. Let's go now," the rich woman said quickly. She made a phone call and called a middle-aged man from the villa. "Old Lou, take us to the mahjong house." "Yes, Mrs. Wang." The man nodded and went to the garage to get the car. The rich woman's car was a Mercedes-Benz S500L, which was worth about 2 million. This was a very common car when she was with the Xiao family. Xiaochen sat in the car calmly and adjusted the air conditioning in the back. This made the rich woman even more certain that Xiaochen was not a scammer. He was really capable. It seemed that Xiaochen had been in this car before. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so familiar with the controls. They arrived at the mahjong house. Xiaochen got out of the car and closed his eyes. The rich woman and the driver didn't dare to disturb him. They just watched Xiaochen stand there. After a while, Xiaochen said, "Follow me." "Oh, okay. Do you want to drive?" the rich woman asked quickly. "If you want to drive, then follow me." Xiaochen got in the car. His sense of smell was much weaker, so he naturally wouldn't get in the car. "I think I'll go. Old Blue, follow me in the car." The rich woman was worried about her dog's safety. If it was a normal day, she wouldn't take a single step. However, it was different today. If she could find Blackie, she wouldn't hesitate to cross mountains and rivers. Fortunately, there was no rain in this season, and there was still a faint puppy smell lingering on the road. Of course, only Xiaochen, who was now a third-level refinement stage cultivator, could perceive it. Others would definitely not be able to do it. Xiaochen walked in front, the rich woman followed behind, and the driver old Lu drove slowly. The three of them arrived at a flower, bird and fish market. This place was called the Flower, Bird and Fish Market. In fact, it also sold dogs, cats, lizards and turtles. It was the largest pet market in Songning City. Right here, Xiaochen said indifferently as he stopped at the entrance of a pet shop called Precious Pet at Home. Here. The rich woman was stunned. Xiaochen didn't answer. Instead, he walked straight into the pet shop. Early in the morning, the pet shop had just opened for business. There were no customers. The owners were a couple, and they were cleaning up at the moment. Seeing a customer come in, the lady boss immediately greeted enthusiastically. "Boss, do you want to buy a pet? Our dogs are all purebred imported, and their faces are very straight." However, the lady boss suddenly saw the mask on Xiaochen's face, and suddenly felt very strange. Although there weren't many cameo actors appearing on the streets, subways and buses, it was the first time she saw one in a pet shop. "Do you have a Tibetan Mastiff?" Xiaochen asked indifferently. Ah, the lady boss was stunned. Just as she was about to speak, the owner who was wiping the floor immediately said, "No, we don't have such an expensive dog in our small shop. The most expensive dog here is the Alaskan Malamute." Xiaochen frowned slightly. He could only use his strong sense of smell to determine that the dog should have finally appeared in this pet shop. However, after entering the pet shop, the clues were cut off. Not only was the smell of other dogs everywhere, but the owner was also wiping the floor. Xiaochen couldn't determine where the Tibetan Mastiff was. Moreover, this pet shop was upstairs and downstairs. Even if Xiaochen wanted to find it, it would be difficult to do so. He couldn't search upstairs by force, right? However, the owner's answer made Xiaochen suspicious. "Since I found this place, you should know why I am here." Xiaochen wasn't in a hurry, and began to use psychological attacks. "You should know how much the Tibetan Mastiff is worth. It shouldn't be less than 1 million in the market. If you steal it and we call the police, I'm afraid you will be in jail, right?" As soon as they heard that Xiaochen wanted to call the police, the owner and the lady boss looked at each other, and their faces changed at the same time. "Did you steal my dog?" The rich woman was eager to find the dog. She didn't have the time to think about whether Xiaochen's words were true or not. How did he determine that her little Blackie was here? Instead, she said subconsciously, "Should we call the police now? Don't slander us. When did we steal the dog? We picked it up." In a hurry, the lady boss immediately defended herself. However, when she said this, she suddenly shut her mouth because she spilled the beans. "He picked it up. Then forget about calling the police. As long as you return the dog to the owner, I can make the decision and ask her to give you a sum of money for the puppy's care." Xiaochen's goal was achieved. He couldn't help but feel relieved. It seemed that the lady boss of this pet shop was still a kind person. She wasn't too black-hearted. "Old Lu, go to the car and get me 50,000 yuan. The rich woman ordered the driver. "Yes, Mrs. Wang." The driver named Old Lu nodded and went to get the money. When the couple heard that they could get 50,000 yuan as a reward, they were very happy. Although the Tibetan Mastiff was valuable, it was illegal. They didn't dare to simply sell it. The Tibetan Mastiff was different from other dogs. The daily feed cost a lot of money. In this way, they couldn't keep it, nor could they sell it. Although it was a good thing, they didn't have the fortune to enjoy it. "I'm sorry. We did pick up a Tibetan Mastiff. But you know, the owners of the other pet shops also know about this. I'm afraid that they sent someone to trick me. If they want to cheat the dog, we have to confirm it first." Zhang Zian said. "In a while, you have to recognize it. If the puppy doesn't recognize you, then don't blame me for not giving it to you." The boss was a smart person. After seeing the situation clearly, he immediately said so. Of course, the so-called owner of the nearby pet shops knew about this was completely fabricated. Who would let outsiders know about this kind of thing? The reason he said that was to absolve himself from the blame. Of course. Xiaochen smiled and nodded. Of course, he also knew the thoughts of the pet shop owner, but he didn't point it out. Soon, the boss came downstairs with a black Tibetan Mastiff. Sure enough, the dog was hidden upstairs. If Xiaochen wanted to find it, it wouldn't be so easy. Mrs. Wang, this is 50,000 yuan. The driver, old Lu, came back quickly with a black plastic bag in his hand. He handed it to the rich woman. Little Blackie. The rich woman signaled old Lu to give the money to the pet shop owner. She happily went to find the Tibetan Mastiff. When the Tibetan Mastiff saw Mrs. Wang, it was also very happy. The pet shop owner took the money and smiled. Thank you, thank you. There's dog food here, I'll give you some. Well, I should go. Xiaochen was still anxious about the exam. He naturally didn't want to stay here any longer. Yes, yes. Thank you, Detective White Fox. Old Lu, hurry up and give the money to this hero. Hero, where are you going? Do you want us to give you a ride? The rich woman saw that Xiaochen was really very capable, so her attitude towards him was naturally very good. All right, then you can send me to somewhere near Songning Second High School. There's a client waiting for me there. Xiaochen looked at the time. Although he could run there by himself, it was naturally better to have someone send him. Okay. The rich woman quickly signaled old Lu to drive. In the car, Xiaochen sat in the back, holding a black plastic bag with 120,000 yuan in it. He was a little emotional. Finally enough. However, this was only the price of a medicine. Detective White Fox, do you have a business card? If I need anything in the future, can I still look for you? The rich woman asked very respectfully. You can call me, Xiaochen casually said. He didn't have a business card, and he didn't want to expose his identity. Okay, the rich woman nodded. Seeing that Xiaochen didn't like to talk, the rich woman could only shut up. When they arrived at Songning Second High School, Xiaochen got out of the car. After the rich woman's car drove away, he took off his mask and chef's uniform, stuffed them into his school bag, and walked in the direction of the classroom. This morning, Lu Zhiming looked very anxious. He was waiting for Xiaochen, but when Tang Tang came, he still didn't see Xiaochen's figure. He couldn't help but feel a little anxious. Tang Tang, have you seen Xiaochen? Lu Zhiming thought in his heart. Could it be that Xiaochen's academic performance was too bad, and he couldn't come for the exam? After knowing that Xiaochen was the abandoned son of the Xiao family, Lu Zhiming naturally thought so. Xiaochen, why are you looking for him? Tang Tang naturally didn't think that Lu Zhiming was kind enough to care about why his classmate didn't come to school. There must be something wrong with everything. When did Lu Zhiming pay attention to Xiaochen? There is indeed something, but it is a good thing. Lu Zhiming saw that Tang Tang was very vigilant, so he didn't say anything more. Some things must be said in front of Xiaochen. They waited until 9 o'clock, when the exam was about to start, and Xiaochen came late. As soon as Lu Zhiming saw Xiaochen's figure, he immediately rushed over, which shocked Xiaochen. Is this kid sick? Is he going to trouble me in the classroom? Isn't this student Xiaochen? Good morning. Lu Zhiming trotted all the way to Xiaochen and said with a smile. Morning? It's already morning. What's the matter? Xiaochen looked at Lu Zhiming in confusion. Did this kid take the wrong medicine? Xiaochen, the previous things are all misunderstandings. Don't care about it. As he said, Lu Zhiming put his arm around Xiaochen's shoulder and walked out of the classroom. Obviously, he didn't want the people in the classroom to hear their conversation. Lu Zhiming, did you get a brain puncture? Xiaochen frowned and naturally didn't believe Lu Zhiming's words. Or did you not treat enough last time? Do you still want to treat me to dinner? Chapter 77. Yes, you guessed it. I'm going to invite you to dinner. Lu Zhiming nodded with a smile on his face. Xiaochen looked at Lu Zhiming inexplicably. Hadn't this person been ripped off enough? You don't have to be surprised. I already know your identity. Are you the young master of the Xiao family? Don't worry, we are at the same level. It's better to squash enmity than keep it alive. I'm not afraid to tell you that I hang out with young Master Yu and young Master Kun at school. It was young Master Kun who told me about your identity. Young Master Kun said that he has a good relationship with you. He asked me to invite you to dinner to solve the misunderstanding. Lu Zhiming said. Yu Xiaochuan? Xiaochen didn't expect that Yu Xiaochuan had already known his identity. However, Yu Xiaochuan investigated him. Xiaochen could understand that Yu Xiaochuan wanted to get rid of Tang Tang. Now that Xiao Chen appeared in front of Tang Tang, it was just in line with Yu Xiaochuan's wishes. Especially after investigating Xiao Chen's background, he found that Xiao Chen and Tang Tang were well matched. Maybe he was so happy now. In fact, for this kind of hypocrite, Xiao Chen was very disdainful. He would rather be a real villain. However, this kind of situation where his identity was exposed was not what Xiao Chen wanted to see. The purpose of his transfer was to start over in a new environment. Now that Yu Xiaochuan had exposed him, this kid wouldn't spread it out. Would he? That would disrupt Xiao Chen's original plan of making a fortune and practicing in secret. Yes, I saved you that day because of young Master Kun. Otherwise, how could I save you if we had a conflict? Lu Zhenming said, how about it, Xiao Chen, give me face? After the exam in the morning, I'll treat you and Tang Tang to a big meal at noon. I'll treat you and Tang Tang. Tang Tang is going too. Xiao Chen was stunned. Yeah, since Tang Tang is your girlfriend, let's go together. In fact, it was Yu Xiaochuan's suggestion. He wanted to confirm the relationship between Xiao Chen and Tang Tang. But for Lu Zhenming, one more person was not a big deal. Anyway, he was doomed to fail today's dinner. Even if he invited 100 people, it would not cost him a penny. Xiao Chen wanted to refuse, but when he thought of Tang Tang's pitiful look, he nodded directly. Okay, since you are so sincere, then we will go. Haha, then it's settled. See you after the exam. When Lu Zhenming saw that his invitation was successful, he was very happy. This time, he could make Xiao Chen cry. Xiao Chen entered the classroom and sat next to Tang Tang. Tang Tang glanced at him and asked, what does Lu Zhenming want from you? He wants to treat us to a big meal at noon, Xiao Chen said. Him? Treat us? Is he sick? Tang Tang felt that it was quite incredible. He knows my identity. Xiao Chen lowered his voice and said, but he mentioned Yu Xiaochuan and said that Yu Xiaochuan would accompany him. I think this has something to do with this guy. Does Lu Zhenming know your identity? Tang Tang frowned slightly and then said with some disgust, Yu Xiaochuan is such a schemer. I guess he is using the matter between us to break off the engagement with me. Just break it off. Anyway, you have nothing good to do with him. Xiao Chen didn't care. Freeloading. Only a fool would not go with him. That's true. Tang Tang nodded. After that, Tang Tang stopped talking and began to read the book seriously. Tang Tang's academic performance was not bad, but when Lu Zhenming suddenly saw through his identity, it disrupted Xiao Chen's original plan to get the first place. How could Xiao Chen get the first place in the exam in the past? If he got the first place this time, would he be suspected? This was what Xiao Chen was most worried about. And now, 10,000 yuan was really nothing in Xiao Chen's eyes. A medicine was at least 100,000 yuan, and 10,000 yuan was just a drop in the bucket. Thinking of this, Xiao Chen decided to take it one step at a time. This time, he could get the same result as Tang Tang. Even if Lu Zhenming was suspicious, he must think that he copied Tang Tang's results. When he really became a cultivator at the 4th level of the refinement stage, he would not be afraid of him. Even if he was suspicious, Xiao Chen would have the ability to protect himself. It should be known that there were not many young warriors at the 4th level of the inner force in the aristocratic families. Buzz! Xiao Chen's mobile phone received a text message. Xiao Chen took it out and glanced at it. It was from the young lady. Why did Lu Zhenming call you just now? Cheng Minjing's concern surprised Xiao Chen. He did not expect that she would care about him so much. Of course, in Xiao Chen's view, it did not mean that the young lady had a good impression of him. It was just her kindness. However, what made Xiao Chen not know whether to laugh or cry was that after Cheng Minjing sent this message, she sent another one. I'm just reminding you to report everything to me. As a servant, you have to be aware of this. Humph. Looking at the text message, Xiao Chen could imagine Cheng Minjing's arrogant look. He replied, Lu Zhenming is going to treat me and Tang Tang to a big meal at noon. After the text message was sent, there was no reply. However, on Cheng Minjing's side, Jean Beibei was looking at Cheng Minjing's mobile phone. Cousin Minjing, I want to have a big meal too. What do you want to eat? He didn't invite you. Cheng Minjing was a bit annoyed. Why did he invite Xiao Chen and Tang Tang? What was the relationship between Xiao Chun and Tang Tang? Didn't he know that he was my servant? If he wanted to treat someone, he should have invited me, right? Of course, if Lu Zhenming knew Qing Minjing's thoughts, he would probably be overjoyed. He wanted to treat Qing Minjing to a meal, but he didn't have a chance to do so. The first subject was Chinese. Although Xiao Chun had done a lot of revision questions recently, he didn't dare to go too far this time. He checked the answers on Tang Tang's test paper with his spiritual mind and estimated the score. Then, he gave a score of about the same as Tang Tang's. Of course, Xiao Chun wouldn't make the same mistake as Tang Tang, because that would be considered cheating. Anyway, Lu Zhenming couldn't see the test paper, so Xiao Chun didn't need to cheat on it. In the blink of an eye, 2 hours had passed. After Xiao Chun handed in the test paper, Lu Zhenming ran to him quickly, as if he was afraid that Xiao Chun would run away. Xiao Chun, let's go. Are we going to have a big meal? When Xiao Chun was about to say something, he saw a woman with big breasts appear in front of Lu Zhenming at an extremely fast speed. A big meal? A big meal? Where are we going to have a big meal? I want to have a big meal too. Well, Lu Zhenming was a bit speechless, looking at Jean Beibei, who was rushing to him, and her big breasts. He didn't feel any visual pleasure at all. He only felt upset. Did this girl have clairvoyant ears? How could she hear a big meal from so far away? However, when Lu Zhenming saw Qing Minjing behind Jean Beibei, his eyes lit up. Beibei, they didn't invite you. Why are you meddling? Let's go and have a roast duck with me. I'm told that the cafeteria of our school has invited a roast duck chef from Yanjin. The roast duck is very authentic. Qing Minjing stopped Jean Beibei and said to her, Minjing, why didn't I invite you? After I finished talking to Xiao Chun, I was just about to invite you. You and Jean Beibei can come too. I've booked a table in the Blue Sea Palace, the best hotel in the city. The authentic Yanjin roast duck is served there too. It's much more authentic than the ones in our school cafeteria. The ducks there are specially raised. I'm told that the fruit charcoal in the oven was flown in too. After the roast duck is roasted, it will be brown, tender on the inside and delicious. Lu Zhenming said in a hurry. That's great. Cousin Minjing, I want to eat it. Jean Beibei was drooling, and her eyes were almost popping out, as if Lu Zhenming were a giant roast duck. All right then, I'll try my best to have a try. Qing Minjing was actually quite interested in why Lu Zhenming had invited Xiao Chun, but she did not have any reason to ask. Now it was a good opportunity for her to follow them and take a look. Lu Zhenming felt creeped out by Jean Beibei's stare. Was the girl up to something again? He said in a hurry, then let's go. I'll lead the way. Xiao Chun and Tang Tang followed him. Qing Minjing and Jean Beibei stayed further away from Xiao Chun, perhaps because they did not want to expose their relationship in front of outsiders. They did not know that Lu Zhenming had already learned Xiao Chun's identity. But even if he did, so what? It was even more important for Qing Minjing to avoid arousing suspicion. The 5 of them came to the parking lot of the school together. Yu Xiaochuan was already waiting next to an Audi A8L. Seeing Xiao Chun and Tang Tang walking over, Yu Xiaochuan put on a sunny smile, looking harmless and amiable. He extended his hand to Xiao Chun and said, Xiao Chun, I've heard a lot about you. I'll be reassured if you take care of Tang Tang in the future. Xiao Chun and Tang Tang were not very surprised. After all, they had learned about it before, but Qing Minjing and Jean Beibei were quite shocked. How did Yu Xiaochuan know about it? However, Qing Minjing was not stupid either. She immediately connected it to Tang Tang. She had also heard that Yu Xiaochuan wanted to get rid of Tang Tang. So, since Xiao Chun and Tang Tang were very close, it would be as easy as pie for Yu Xiaochuan to investigate Xiao Chun. What an idiot! Qing Minjing cursed in her heart. Can't you behave yourself? You've fallen into a woman's trap, haven't you? If you're not so close to Tang Tang, will Yu Xiaochuan pay attention to you? Seeing Qing Minjing's astonishment, Lu Zhenming hurriedly explained. Minjing, I didn't mean to investigate Xiao Chun's identity. It's really for a reason. You know, although young Master Kun and Tang Tang have broken off their engagement, they used to be friends. Young Master Kun also hopes that Tang Tang will be happy in the future. So it's reasonable for him to investigate Xiao Chun's identity. Of course, I also know that you don't want others to know that Xiao Chun is your ex-fiancé. Don't worry, it's only limited to me and young Master Kun. It won't be made public in the class. That's better. Cheng Minjing nodded proudly. I don't want to be noticed. Chapter 78. Of course. Minjing, don't worry. Lu Zhiming did not know that Cheng Minjing was afraid that Xiao Chun would be noticed by others. He thought that Cheng Minjing hated Xiao Chun. However, he could not figure out why Cheng Minjing was in the same class with Xiao Chun since she hated Xiao Chun. However, it must be the arrangement of the Cheng family. Lu Zhiming could not figure it out, nor did he dare to ask casually. His relationship with Cheng Minjing was not that good, so he could only observe in secret. Xiao Chun Tang, why don't you take my car? Miss Cheng, Miss Jean, why don't you take Lu Zi's car? Yu Xiaochuan arranged the situation of these people like a superior. He liked the feeling of being in charge. His goal was to be a superior. I'm not used to taking other people's cars. After saying that, Cheng Minjing walked to Jean Bei's beetle. Lu Zi, don't drive. Take my car. Yu Xiaochuan said to Lu Zhiming with his face still as warm as a spring breeze. He didn't care about Cheng Minjing's attitude at all. In his eyes, Cheng Minjing wasn't someone he could rope in. No matter how beautiful a woman was, no matter how noble her status was, she would still be ridden by men. She wouldn't be of any help to his future plans. No problem, Mr. Xiaochuan. Lu Zhiming opened the door of the passenger seat of the A8L and sat in the passenger seat. Yu Xiaochuan did not get in the car until Xiao Chun and Tang sat in the back seat. He started the car, while Jean Bei's beetle followed Lu Zhiming's car. Xiao Chun, you and I are at the same level. You should know Tang's identity. Since you like her, I'm relieved. It's not easy for people at our level to find true love. Cherish it. Yu Xiaochuan reminded Xiao Chun earnestly like an elder. Mr. Yu, you don't have to worry about it. I understand what you mean. Xiao Chun didn't deny the relationship between him and Tang, because he wanted to save her face. If he said that he wasn't her boyfriend, Tang would probably be very embarrassed at this moment, as if no one wanted her. That's good. I won't say more. Let's eat and drink well this noon. Lu Zi said that he would treat us, but I think I should treat you. Yu Xiaochuan had achieved his purpose, so he did not want to say anything to Xiao Chun. He had successfully gotten rid of Tang, as well as Lu Zhiming, the young master of the Lu family, one of the 4 big and 5 small aristocratic families. Yu Xiaochuan was free in the future. The Azure Sea Palace was the largest, most luxurious, and most expensive hotel in Songning City. Many successful people like to entertain distinguished guests here. And the young masters of the 4 big and 5 small aristocratic families were also frequent guests here. After parking the car, they walked into the hotel together. The security guard at the door had sharp eyes. He remembered all the famous people in Songning City. When he saw the group in front of him, his heart suddenly tightened. Miss Cheng, Miss Jean, Xiao Chun, Mr. Kun, Mr. Lu, and Miss Tang, welcome. The security guard knew all the people in front of him, but he was particular about the order in which he called them. He called them according to the order of the 4 big and 5 small aristocratic families. The Cheng family was the head of the 4 big and 5 small aristocratic families, and the Lu family was the last. However, the security guard also knew that Tang had left the Tang family, so Tang was put last. He did not know about Xiao Chun. Yu Xiaochuan raised his eyebrows. Obviously, he was a little unhappy with the security guard putting Xiao Chun's name in front of him. If it was in the past, he would have endured it. After all, the Xiao family was a little stronger than the Yu family, but now, of course, he did not say anything. He just kept it in mind and planned to let the manager of the Diamond Account Department of the Azure Sea Palace inform about the Xiao family. I've booked it, Diamond number 1. Yu Xiaochuan glanced at the security guard and said faintly, Okay, Mr. Kun, please. The security guard quickly made a please gesture. The Azure Sea Palace adopted a membership card system. That was to say, without a membership card, it was useless to come here to eat. You must show your membership card to enter the door, and the waiter or security guard would arrange the box according to the level of the membership card. Of course, people like Xiao Chun and his group wouldn't show their membership cards at all, because their faces were the membership cards, and it was a high-grade diamond card at that. This was also an important job that the security guards and waiters had to do to work here, to recognize the face. On the first floor of the Azure Sea Palace was the self-service area. Of course, these things were free. The guests who ate here could come down and take it at will. However, this was not a loss, because who would come here to eat these free things for the guests who had a membership card? They would order a lot of famous dishes in the box, and the hotel had already earned back the money, not to mention the high membership fee every year. The Diamond Number 1 box was the most luxurious box in the diamond card. It was not something that could be entered with a diamond card. There was also a minimum consumption here. Of course, the decoration of this box was also incomparably luxurious. The walls were hung with expensive calligraphy and paintings. There were works by famous contemporary masters, as well as antique calligraphy and paintings. On the display shelf on the side of the box, there were also many expensive antiques for the guests to admire. In short, the taste here was very elegant and luxurious. In other words, it was high-end, atmospheric and high-grade. Under the guidance of the waiter, they entered the box. Xiao Chun was once a regular here, so he did not show any abnormalities. He directly walked into the box and sat down. After everyone entered the private room, Ma Xiaoyan, the manager of the Diamond Account Department, rushed over upon hearing the news. She walked quickly into the private room and said with a smile, "Young masters and Missy are here. Welcome. I'm sorry I came late, but I didn't treat you well. Recently, there are a few good things in the number 1 box. Young masters, would you like to have a look?" The good things that the manager of the customer department said referred to antiques. These young masters were born in famous families. In addition to playing with women and racing cars, they also liked to play with some elegant things. The Azure Sea Palace often made some antiques for these young masters to admire. If there was something that these young masters liked, it was not uncommon for them to spend a lot of money to buy it. To put it bluntly, this was also one of the ways for the Azure Sea Palace to make money. "Then let's have a look." Lu Zhenming smiled and stood up. However, when he saw that Xiao Chun did not get up, he patted Xiao Chun on the shoulder and said, "Xiao Chun, come and have a look together? I heard that a few months ago, you spent a lot of money in this Diamond Number 1 box and bought a jade ring back?" Lu Zhenming was right. A few months ago, Xiao Chun had indeed bought a jade thumb ring from here. However, it was for his grandfather's birthday as a birthday gift. At that time, his grandfather was very fond of it and had even praised him. However, in the blink of an eye, things remained the same, but the people had changed. He had already been kicked out of the Xiao family. That grandfather who doted on him had never contacted him since he was kicked out of the Xiao family. Xiao Chun did not want to stand up, but seeing Tang Tang stand up curiously, Xiao Chun also stood up. Tang Tang was completely out of curiosity. Although she had come to the Azure Sea Palace for dinner before, it was with her elders. She really did not pay attention to the antiques on this shelf. Young Master Kun, young Master Lu Xiao Chun. This bowl was used by Zhang Naipeo, the leader of the dark sect, in XX years. Ma Xiaoyan pointed to a bowl on the display shelf and introduced with a smile. Ma Xiaoyan's words slightly moved Xiao Chen's heart. He put his name at the end. What did this mean? This person knew that he was kicked out of the Xiao family? However, before at the entrance of the hotel, the security guard did not know. Was there something wrong here? Thinking of this, Xiao Chen secretly became vigilant. Of course, this was also a habit of self-protection that he had developed over the years. Oh, the leader of the dark sect? That is a legendary existence. I want to see it. As he said, Lu Zhenming reached out to pick up the bowl on the shelf and carefully looked at it. He was amazed as he looked at it. When I hold it in my hand, it has a kind of evil qi, a kind of gloomy feeling. Xiao Chen, do you want to have a look? As he said, Lu Zhenming handed the bowl in his hand to Xiao Chun. Xiao Chun was stunned and subconsciously reached out to take it. However, when his hand stretched out halfway, he instinctively stopped. Although there was a smile on Lu Zhenming's face, Xiao Chun felt that there was a little bit of bad intention. However, Xiao Chen did not take it, but Lu Jinming directly stuffed the bowl into Xiao Chen's hand. Before Xiao Chen could hold it firmly, he let go. Pa! The bowl directly fell to the ground. Although the floor of this box was covered with carpet, the bowl still fell in half. Ah! Xiao Chen, why are you so careless? This bowl was broken by you? What a pity! Lu Jinming shouted. It's broken. Ma Xiaotian was also stunned, but she smiled indifferently. It doesn't matter. It's just a toy. It's only a little more than 1 million. It's a piece of cake for Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen, you broke this bowl yourself. I'm sorry that I can't pay for it. This meal is on me. Yu Xiaochuan walked over and said seriously. Xiao Chen finally understood why Lu Jinming took such a big detour to set up this trap. It turned out that he was waiting for him here. Before, Xiao Chen thought that Yu Xiaochuan simply wanted to treat him to a meal to confirm the relationship between him and Tang Tang. But when he thought about it carefully, it was not necessary. Yu Xiaochuan had treated him before. Jean Beibei was holding the menu and was about to order. Hearing the noise here and seeing the broken bowl under Xiao Chen's feet, she was a little confused. Cousin Menjing, what are they talking about? Humph, it's his fault for being greedy. He insisted on coming to the banquet. Now he's making trouble, isn't he? Cheng Menjing snorted, but she was very anxious in her heart. More than 1 million, although it was not a small amount. Cheng Menjing could take out the money. However, in what name should she take it out? Chapter 79. It was Lu Jinming who fell to the ground. What does it have to do with Xiao Chen? Tang Tang had been paying close attention to Xiao Chen. Naturally, she knew what had happened. Hearing Cheng Menjing's words, she naturally felt that it was unfair to Xiao Chen. Cheng Menjing glanced at Tang Tang. She frowned and said in a low voice, "Do you think I don't know that? Do I need you to tell me? Since you care so much about Xiao Chen, why don't you pay the bill for him? It's obvious that they are trying to set him up. That manager is obviously one of them." How could Tang Tang have so much money? If she had more than 1 million, she wouldn't have to sell fried dough sticks in the morning. Cousin Menjing, why don't I do it? Jean Beibei chuckled. There was no telling what dirty tricks she had come up with this time. Cheng Menjing hesitated for a moment. Although Jean Beibei was definitely going to set Lu Jinming or Yu Xiaochuan up, it was best for her to step in at this moment. Therefore she nodded calmly. However, when Jean Beibei was about to step in, Xiao Chen bent down and picked up the broken bowl on the ground. Holding it in his hand, he glanced at Lu Jinming with a weird expression and said, "The bowl is not broken, is it? Isn't it good? Is it necessary to make such a fuss?" Huh. Lu Jinming was smiling complacently. He was stunned when he heard Xiao Chen's words. He was just about to retort when he suddenly found that the bowl in Xiao Chen's hand was not broken at all. There was not even a crack on it. Yu Xiaochuan's eyes widened. He was speechless as he looked at the bowl in Xiao Chen's hand. Did I see it wrong? The bowl in Xiao Chen's hand was clearly intact. How could it be broken? The one who was most puzzled was Ma Xiaotian. Although she promised to cooperate with Yu Xiaochuan and Lu Jinming's acting, in order to avoid arousing suspicion, she was quite far away from Xiao Chen. She didn't see clearly whether the bowl on the ground was broken or not. When she walked over, Xiao Chen had already picked it up. She wondered if Lu Jinming was acting and didn't see clearly. Was he too anxious? Since it's not broken, that's good. Looks like this demon sect leader Zhang Naipeo is a tough one after all, Ma Xiaoyan said with a laugh, knowing that she couldn't keep up the act today. That's impossible. It was obviously broken. Lu Jinming finally had a chance to punish Xiao Chen. How could he let it go? He directly snatched the bowl from Xiao Chen's hand and placed it in front of his eyes to examine it. However, as soon as he looked at it, the bowl broke into 2 halves with a crack and stopped in Lu Jinming's palm just like that. Lu Jinming was dumbfounded. Yu Xiaochuan was dumbfounded. Ma Xiaotian was also dumbfounded. What was going on? Cheng Menjing was puzzled. Tang Tang was puzzled. Jean Beibei was thoughtful. Why? Why is it broken? Lu Jinming didn't expect that a bowl that was perfectly fine just now would break in half in his hand. Wasn't this too amazing? Young Master Lu, what are you robbing? Look, it's broken, isn't it? Xiao Chun looked at Lu Jinming with a bit of heartache and said, "This bowl is only about 1 million, which is nothing for someone like young Master Lu, but it's a pity that it broke like this, isn't it?" Lu Jinming looked at the broken bowl in his hand. He wanted to cry but had no tears. "Damn, I didn't break it at all." A look of doubt flashed in Yu Xiaochuan's eyes. However, he was a hypocrite. It was impossible for him to lie through his teeth and falsely accuse Xiao Chun. He could only frown and say, "Lu Jinming, why are you so careless? Forget it, just pay them the money. Although this meal is on me, this bowl is not included." Lu Jinming wanted to cry but had no tears. He and his father Lu Siwen had just applied for 1 million to pick up girls, but now he had to pay for this bowl? Although he didn't know if this bowl was a bowl used by a sect master, it was indeed an antique. Back then, he had chosen this bowl because he was afraid that Xiao Chun would recognize it. If it was a fake, Xiao Chun wouldn't be willing to pay for it. Therefore, the real value of this bowl was actually 1 million yuan. "Damn, my cousin-in-law has a superpower," Jin Beibei murmured to Cheng Menjing. Cheng Menjing didn't know how the situation in front of her turned 180 degrees. "Swipe my card." Lu Jinming took out a bank card and handed it to Ma Xiaotian. Although he had reached an agreement with Ma Xiaotian to put on this show, it didn't mean that he didn't need to pay for the broken bowl. "Okay." Ma Xiaotian took over the bank card and nodded. "I'll leave my diamond card here. My grandpa suddenly sent me a message. He wants to talk to me about something. Excuse me, everyone. I'll pay for all your expenses." Yu Xiaochuan felt that it was meaningless for him to stay here. He handed his diamond card to Ma Xiaotian and said, as for his grandpa, it was just an excuse. He failed to trick Xiao Chun and lost face in front of Lu Jinming. Naturally, he was not in the mood to eat here anymore. Lu Jinming hesitated for a while. Since Yu Xiaochuan had left, it was meaningless for him to stay here. Besides, he had lost face in front of Cheng Menjing. Xiao Chun should pay for the bowl, but he had to pay for it. Seeing Jin Beibei's gloating look, Lu Jinming said, "I'm going to find an antique shop to see if this bowl can be repaired. I like it very much. Haha." After saying that, Lu Jinming took the cracked bowl and walked out of the room with Yu Xiaochuan. When Ma Xiaoyan was about to go out with them, Jin Beibei shouted, "Hey, don't go. I want to order." Miss Jean, what would you like to order?" Ma Xiaoyan had no choice but to ask Lu Jinming to wait for a while. She would give him the card. "Give me a plate of everything on the menu." Jin Beibei pointed at the menu and said. Hearing Jin Beibei's words, Yu Xiaochuan, who had just walked out of the room, almost stumbled and fell. What was this place? It was a top hotel in Songning City. Every dish on the menu would cost at least 1 million yuan. Did this girl want to kill me? Miss Jean, can you eat so much?" Ma Xiaotian asked weakly. Although she was happy to sell a lot, it was Yu Xiaochuan's treat. If she offended Yu Xiaochuan, she would lose more than she gained. "If I can't finish it, can I pack it up?" Jin Beibei waved her hand and said, "Okay, I've ordered. You can serve the dishes now." Okay, Miss Jean." Ma Xiaoyan had to nod and left the room. A gloomy look flashed across Yu Xiaochuan's face. However, he recovered soon. To him, spending more than 1 million yuan was nothing. He had no pursuit for material life. What he pursued was strength and power. "Young Master Kun, what do you think?" After Ma Xiaoyan left the room, she naturally had to ask Yu Xiaochuan, who was the sponsor. "Didn't I tell you? I'll pay the bill. Do you still doubt my credibility even though I've placed my diamond card here?" Yu Xiaochuan glanced at Ma Xiaoyan and asked coldly. "Of course not. I'll go and serve the dishes now." Ma Xiaoyan's heart trembled. She quickly asked someone to serve the dishes. In the parking lot of the Azure Heavenly Palace, Lu Jinming was sitting in Yu Xiaochuan's A8L car. He said angrily, "Young Master Kun, this bowl was obviously broken into 2 halves on the ground. However, when Xiao Chun picked it up, it was whole. Then when I picked it up, it became 2 halves again. Did Xiao Chun use some sorcery?" "Sorcery? If I'm not mistaken, this brat should have practiced magic. He just used a camouflage." Yu Xiaochuan shook his head. "I heard that he used to imitate a magician on TV to please a girl. So that's how it is. Damn, I was tricked by this brat." Young Master Kun, I can't swallow this. Not only did I not punish Xiao Chun, but you and I have lost more than 1,000,000 yuan. Lu Zhenming said viciously, I want to kill this brat. Don't be impulsive. Yu Xiaochuan glanced at Lu Zhenming. Didn't I tell you that his identity is special? Since you know that he is the young master of the Xiao family, I'm afraid that you will get into trouble if you kill him. We can find someone to do it. I don't believe that the Cheng family will investigate carefully for a person like him. Lu Zhenming was really angry today. Originally, he wanted to get closer to Cheng Minjing through this meal. However, he didn't expect that not only did he not get closer to her, but he also made a fool of himself. The initiator of all this was Xiao Chun. He hated him to the bone. Well, I know what to do about this matter. Wait for me to think of a safe way, said Yu Xiaochuan. Then, okay. I'll go back first. In Lu Zhenming's heart, there was already a barrier between him and Yu Xiaochuan. He could see that Yu Xiaochuan didn't kill Xiao Chun not because he was afraid that the Cheng family would be unhappy, but because of Tang Tang. If Xiao Chun died, how could he get rid of Tang Tang? However, due to the status of the Yu family, Lu Zhenming didn't dare to say it. Although he was a young master of the underworld, compared with Yu Xiaochuan, his level was still much lower. Many times, he still needed to rely on Yu Xiaochuan's help to improve his level. Your bowl. Yu Xiaochuan also saw that Lu Zhenming wasn't very happy, but he couldn't do anything about it. He still needed to use Xiao Chun. For this matter, as long as Master Tang didn't officially give in and form a divorce document, Yu Xiaochuan wouldn't feel at ease for a day. No, young Master Kun. You can take it and play with it. Lu Zhenming was not a man of high social status. He didn't like to play with these artsy things, especially this broken bowl. It was useless for Lu Zhenming to take it back. Yu Xiaochuan didn't say anything. He started the car and went straight to the Tang family. He had to put an end to this matter. Otherwise, even his underling Lu Zhenming would have some ideas about him, which was not what Yu Xiaochuan wanted to see. After Yu Xiaochuan and Lu Zhenming left, there were only Xiao Chun, Tang Tang, Cheng Minjing, and Jin Beibei in the box. The atmosphere became weird. Cousin-in-law, was that magic you just performed? Jin Beibei looked at Xiao Chun with interest and asked. What Xiao Chun performed just now was not magic, but illusions, which was a special ability of the third level of the refinement stage. Theoretically speaking, it was a trick that cultivators used to confuse their opponents in a fight. However, Xiao Chun had used it in a bowl. Chapter 80. The bowl had indeed been broken when it hit the ground. However, Xiao Chun had created an illusion when he held it in his hand. Therefore, the bowl was still intact in everybody's eyes. Of course, it was also because Yu Xiaochuan, Lu Zhenming, and the rest of them were not very strong, and Xiao Chun could confuse them easily. Sort of. Xiao Chun nodded with a smile, and did not explain further. Tang Tang frowned when she heard how Jin Beibei addressed Xiao Chun. She wanted to say something, but did not say it in the end. Xiao Chun seemed to enjoy the title very much. What else could she say? Holy **T. I told you that my cousin-in-law is a transformer, who can perform magic tricks. Jin Beibei looked at Xiao Chun, and then at her breasts. She asked, Cousin-in-law, can my breasts be bigger? Xiao Chun was somewhat speechless. Beibei, if you are a little bigger, you will have to be pushed by a cart. Cheng Minjing was so angry that her breasts hurt. Your breasts are already big enough. And you want them to be bigger? I saw on the internet that there are strollers for children that are super popular. They can be placed on your breasts. You can push them to school every day. Then forget it. Jin Beibei thought for a moment and said, Cousin-in-law, you'd better help Cousin Minjing to make her breasts bigger. I don't need it. Cheng Minjing glared at Jin Beibei. Tang Tang looked at Jin Beibei and hesitated. Xiao Chun was here, and she did not want to hurt Xiao Chun's pride. Therefore, she decided to wait for a while. The waiters of the hotel placed all the dishes on the menu on the table. The private room was almost like a banquet. Everything that could fly in the sky, swim in the water, and run on the ground was served. Delicious! Delicious! Jin Beibei's mouth was full of grease. Looking at Jin Beibei's table manners, Tang Tang did not know what to say. She already had a big appetite, but she still felt that she was not as good as Jean Bebe. Cheng Minjing was eating the foie gras in front of her gently. Xiao Chun, on the other hand, was not scared at all. He ate whatever he saw. If there was anybody on the table who could compete with Jean Bebe, it would be Xiao Chun. Cousin-in-law, this turtle soup is delicious. You should have some, too. Jean Bebe had a few mouthfuls of the turtle soup and pushed her spoon and bowl to Xiao Chun. Is that so? Xiao Chun took the soup and drank it. He found that it was indeed delicious. He didn't think too much about it. This was Jean Bebe's character. Moreover, the two of them often cooperated like this at home. After all, they were both foodies. Jean Bebe pointed at an Australian grilled fish and said, "Cousin-in-law, that dish looks delicious. Help me bring it over." Okay. Xiao Chun took it. "Cousin-in-law, that dish looks delicious. Help me bring it over." All right. Tang Tang frowned again, but still said nothing. Why hasn't the roast duck been served yet? After 3 rounds of dinner, Jean Bebe suddenly found that the Yanjing roast duck had not been served yet. The roast duck seems to be in the buffet area on the first floor. You have to get it yourself. When Xiao Chun entered the door, he saw a stall selling Yanjing roast duck on the first floor. The perception of a cultivator was not ordinary. Xiao Chun just took a casual glance and remembered it. Okay. Cousin-in-law, please bring one up for me. Jean Bebe said while drooling. Can't you take it yourself? You let others do everything. What are your legs for? Tang Tang finally couldn't help but feel indignant for Xiao Chun. But my breasts are big. If I go down and come up again, my breasts will hurt. Jean Bebe said innocently. Tang Tang was rendered speechless by Jean Bebe. But she was thinking to herself, why is this girl so shameless? Doesn't she know that there are guys here? She only has breasts and breasts. Doesn't she know how to be shy? Cheng Minjing had intended to scold Jean Bebe, but she was a bit unhappy when she heard what Tang Tang said. Her princess syndrome was acting up again. Xiao Chun, I want to eat roast duck. Go and get it for me. After that, Cheng Minjing looked at Tang Tang provocatively. Now that our identities have been exposed, I don't believe that you don't know that Xiao Chun is my servant. You care about Xiao Chun, don't you? Humph. I'd like to see whether Xiao Chun listens to you or to me. Okay. Xiao Chun stood up without hesitation and walked out of the room. Watching Xiao Chun's back, Tang Tang felt complicated. After Xiao Chun left, she put down the bowl and chopsticks in her hands and looked at Jean Bebe and Cheng Minjing solemnly. Jean Bebe, the Cheng family has broken off the engagement with Xiao Chun. Please don't call him cousin-in-law anymore, okay? Since your cousin can't be with him, don't give him so many illusions, okay? Tang Tang couldn't stand it anymore. Although she knew that Xiao Chun liked Cheng Minjing, Xiao Chun was probably not even qualified to be a spare tire right now. Are you guys messing around with me? What's wrong with calling me cousin-in-law? I'm from the Jean family. I like to be my cousin-in-law's sister-in-law. What does that have to do with the Cheng family? Jean Bebe spat out a piece of crayfish skin and asked Tang Tang back in confusion. Tang Tang was at a loss for words. She found that she was at a disadvantage when she was arguing with Jean Bebe. No wonder those playboys were like mice that had run into a cat in front of Jean Bebe. This girl's logical thinking and jumpy thinking were very good. Bebe. Cheng Minjing stopped Jean Bebe and looked at Tang Tang. She said casually, Tang Tang, I know that you like Xiao Chun, but Xiao Chun is my servant right now. He is doing it voluntarily. Nobody is forcing him. Bebe likes to joke. If Xiao Chun takes it seriously, it's his own business. If you care about him so much, you'd better talk to him. Although what Cheng Minjing said sounded reasonable, Tang Tang could not help but feel that there was an intense smell of gunpowder in it. It was as if Xiao Chun was Cheng Minjing's personal property. However, she did not think that Cheng Minjing had any feelings for Xiao Chun. Therefore, in her heart, she regarded Cheng Minjing as a scheming bitch who liked to play with Xiao Chun's feelings for fun. However, Tang Tang also felt sorry for Xiao Chun's failure in her heart. Who asked her to fall in love with Cheng Minjing? Xiao Chun and I are just brothers, Xiao Chun said that. But Xiao Chun did not bother to defend himself. Tang Tang also felt that she was not qualified to scold Cheng Minjing. She could only remind her. In fact, Xiaochen is a very good boy. If you don't like him, please let him go. Jean Bebe suddenly interjected. That's right. My cousin-in-law is very awesome. Bebe likes and admires him very much. Jean Bebe suddenly interjected. Tang Tang felt that it was impossible to communicate with them. This Jean Bebe must have been sent by Cheng Minjing to disgust her, wasn't she? Cheng Minjing looked at Tang Tang and was about to say something, but she did not say it in the end. It was not because she did not trust Tang Tang, but because the walls had ears. If she revealed Xiao Chen's real purpose of becoming her servant, it would not be a good thing for both Xiao Chen and herself. Therefore, during the period when Xiao Chen was not back, Cheng Minjing and Tang Tang were both silent and did not look at each other. Jean Bebe, on the other hand, was enjoying the food without a care in the world. After a while, Xiao Chen carried the roast duck in. However, hardly had he entered the private room when Xiao Chen sensed coldness flooding out of the room. Although the three of them were safe and sound, Xiao Chen felt that the atmosphere was not right. Perhaps it was the keen senses of the cultivators. Roast duck. Xiao Chen brought the roast duck that had been rolled into pancakes downstairs. He put one in front of each of them. Jean Bebe took a bite of the pancake. She chewed so hard that her lips were covered in oil. Yes, the roast duck is delicious. Why don't you eat it? Tang Tang discovered that Xiao Chen had only brought back 3 pancakes, but he did not have any himself. The roast duck is available at 11 p.m. Now that the time is over, I grabbed the last 3 pancakes for you. Xiao Chen shrugged unconcernedly. It's fine if I don't eat it. There are many other dishes. Cousin-in-law, eat mine. It's really delicious. Jean Bebe, however, handed the pancake that she had taken a bite of to Xiao Chen. I'm not eating it. Xiao Chen was too embarrassed to eat Jean Bebe's saliva in front of Tang Tang. It was fine if they were at home, but here, Xiao Chen did not want Tang Tang to think that he was a pervert. Just eat it. Don't you like it? Okay. All right then. Seeing that Xiao Chen did not want to eat it, Jean Bebe began to eat on her own. Tang Tang intended to give her pancake to Xiao Chen, but when she recalled that she claimed to be Xiao Chen's buddy, she was too embarrassed to do that. An Audi A8L drove to the southern suburb of Songning City, which was the residence of the Tang family, one of the most powerful families in Songning City. After parking the car in front of the Tang family's house, Yu Xiaochuan realized that he had come in a hurry. Tang Tang's grandfather, Tang Fangbai, was a utilitarian. Although the Yu family and the Tang family had reached a tacit understanding, it was the first time that he had publicly proposed to cancel the engagement. Yu Xiaochuan felt that he should take out some gifts to fool Tang Fangbai. However, he came in a hurry and did not have time to prepare anything. When he glanced at the back seat of the car, his eyes suddenly lit up. The broken bowl that Lu Jinming had bought reminded Yu Xiaochuan of something. He smiled and picked up the broken bowl carefully. Then he got out of the car and rummaged in the trunk for a long time. Finally, he found a delicate brocade box and put the broken bowl into it. This brocade box used to contain a ginseng from 2 years ago. Yu Xiaochuan used the ginseng to practice martial arts, so he threw the box in the car. Unexpectedly, it came in handy at this moment. Tang Fangbai liked to collect antiques, especially antiques related to martial artists. The bowl that had been used by the leader of the devil cult was just right for him. Of course, it did not mean that the antiques were worthless when they were broken. In fact, many antiques were already broken when they were unearthed or discovered. But it did not affect their value as a collection, because most of these things were unique, and there was only one of them whether they were broken or not. Before Tang Tang was 16, Yu Xiaochuan was a frequent visitor of the Tang family. Now he had not been here for almost 2 years. When the 2 guarding disciples of the Tang family saw Yu Xiaochuan, they could not help but be slightly stunned. Chapter 81. In the past, when Yu Xiaochuan came to the Tang family, he didn't need to inform them. He came as a prospective son-in-law and could directly see Elder Tang. However, things were different now. The 2 looked at each other and said politely, "Young Master Yu is here. Can we inform him?" Yu Xiaochuan was a little annoyed in his heart, but on the surface, he still looked modest and warm. Of course. Thank you for the trouble. Although Tang Fongbai wondered why Yu Xiaochuan came today, he still let him in. Xiaochuan greets Elder Tang. Yu Xiaochuan came to the living room and bowed politely. Well, Xiaochuan, why are you here today? Hee. It's been 2 years since you last came here, right? Although Tang Fongbai saw Yu Xiaochuan, he didn't have a good expression. He felt that this kid was not sincere. Seeing that Tang didn't look good, he directly broke off the engagement. Did he think that the Tang family was easy to bully? Although the Tang family was in the wrong in this matter, they couldn't be weak, right? Actually, it's not a big deal. Tang found her true love, so I came to congratulate her. Yu Xiaochuan said with a smile. Tang Fongbai's expression suddenly changed. Yu Xiaochuan, what nonsense are you talking about? What do you mean by Tang found her true love? Oh, it seems that Grandpa Tang doesn't know? Tang is now in love with the young master of the Xiao family, Xiao Chen. The two of them are a good match. I passed by here, so I came to congratulate her. I didn't expect Grandpa Tang to not know. I'm sorry I spoke too much. Yu Xiaochuan said with a very guilty look. Xiao Chen? Tang Fongbai suddenly frowned. He naturally knew who Xiao Chen was. If Xiao Chen hadn't been kicked out of the family and liked Tang Fongbai would happily go to the Xiao family to claim kinship. But now, however, Tang was an abandoned child of the Tang family, which matched well with Xiao Chen's identity. Tang Fongbai was too lazy to get angry because of a fat girl, so he just nodded indifferently. Oh, Grandpa Tang, do you think my marriage with Tang should be? Yu Xiaochuan stopped talking, which was very much in line with his hypocritical character. Although he thought so, he didn't say it out loud, but let others say it for him. I'm tired. I'm old, and I don't have much energy. I'm going to sleep. Little Yu, why don't you rest here first and have dinner with us tonight? Tang Fongbai did not answer Yu Xiaochuan's question directly. Yu Xiaochuan was pissed, but he kept a smile on his face as he placed the box on the tea table. I know you like antiques, Grandpa Tang. I heard that this bowl was once used by the head of the demon sect, Zhang Naipeo. I hope you'll like it, Grandpa Tang. Oh. The listless Tang Fongbai's face changed as he perked up. Is this something that the legendary war god Zhang Naipeo of the Demon Gate used? Let me see. Yes, of course. I don't know if it's real or not. Please have a look, Grandpa Tang. Yu Xiaochuan smiled coldly in his heart. Old man, I knew you were even more of a hypocrite than me. Oh, keep it. I'll look into it. I'll think about what you said. Tang Fongbai nodded and picked up the 2 broken pieces of the bowl. Then I won't disturb your rest anymore, Grandpa Tang. Goodbye. Yu Xiaochuan was a bit disappointed that he didn't get the answer he wanted. But since Tang Fongbai said that he would think about it, it meant that there was a chance. He just needed to work harder, and he would be able to get it done. After Yu Xiaochuan left, Tang Fongbai couldn't wait to pick up the magnifying glass and examine the so-called bowl used by the head of the demon sect, Zhang Naipeo. At first, Tang Fongbai was very disdainful. After all, Zhang Naipeo was only a legend, but after a while, he suddenly exclaimed in surprise, and his expression became serious. I'm so full, cousin-in-law. Do you think I have a big chest or a big belly? Jean Bebe rubbed her round belly and wobbled out of Azure Sea Palace. She seemed to have lost her balance. Cough cough. Tang was a bit unhappy after hearing that. Jean Bebe, other people might be scared of you, but I'm not. Do you think that Xiao Chen is not an outsider, and is really your cousin-in-law? Yes. Jean Bebe turned to look at Tang and nodded solemnly. Tang was stunned and didn't know what to say. Jean Bebe's answer made her feel helpless. She finally understood why so many people suffered losses in front of Jean Bebe. It was because they had been set up by her without knowing it. Looking at Jean Bebe's innocent face, Tang really didn't know whether the girl was really stupid or just pretending to be cute. She could only shake her head. Cheng Menjing, on the other hand, didn't know why, but when Jean Bebe said yes, for the first time, she felt that Jean Bebe's nonsense was quite cool. Xiao Chen could only respond with a bitter smile. He blinked at Tang, hinting that he was already used to Jean Bebe's jokes. Tang was greatly relieved to see Xiao Chen's reaction. She was afraid that Xiao Chun would sink deeper and deeper, making it obvious that it was impossible for him and Cheng Minjing. If she did not stop him from thinking, Tang Tang was truly worried that Xiao Chun would be depressed. The four of them walked to the parking lot with their own thoughts in mind, only to discover that Lu Jinming and Yu Xiaochuan were both gone, and Jean Bei's beetle was the only one left in the parking lot. How were they going to sit there? The back seat of the beetle was big enough for two people, but it was rather difficult for Tang Tang to fit in with her body size. At this moment, Tang Tang was somewhat embarrassed. You take the car. I'll walk back, okay? Wait. Although Cheng Minjing did not like Tang Tang, she was not a bad person. The Azure Sea Palace was several kilometers away from her school. If she walked back, she would be late for the exam. Not only would she be tired, but she would also be late for the exam. It must be noted that there was only 1 hour to go before the exam in the afternoon. However, the current situation was that if Tang Tang was allowed to take the car, she could only sit in the front passenger seat due to her body size. Then there was a problem. Who would squeeze into the back seat with Xiao Chun? The back seat was small in the first place, and Xiao Chun was tall. It was inevitable that the two of them would have to sit next to each other. If Bei drove, it would be Cheng Minjing and Xiao Chun sitting together. Cheng Minjing did not want to sit next to Xiao Chun at all. He did not like her, and it would be shameless for her to sit next to him. Humph. Therefore, after the words came out of Cheng Minjing's mouth, there was nothing else. She did not know what to do. I'll run back and let you take the car. Xiao Chun did not wait for Miss Su to speak and said, in his opinion, it was not a problem for him to run back in terms of physical strength and time. No need. I'll call a taxi. Before Tang Tang finished, Xiao Chun waved his hand freely and ran out of the parking lot quickly. Looking at Xiao Chun's back, Cheng Minjing suddenly felt a sense of loss for no reason. Where did this sense of loss come from? Cheng Minjing did not know. Sitting in the back seat of the beetle, she suddenly recalled the scene when she slept sweetly on Xiao Chun's body that night. Her cheeks blushed as if she had put on blush. Cousin Minjing, what's wrong with your face? Did you drink too much? Jean Bei got in the car last. She accidentally saw Cheng Minjing's red face in the back seat. She immediately found it odd. That's not right. We didn't drink just now, did we? Oh, I know. We watched a movie last night. It says that a man who runs fast is very strong, and the longer he runs, the longer he can last. You must be thinking that my cousin-in-law will be awesome in the future. Awesome. You should marry him. Cheng Minjing glared at Jean Bei. It was not a problem for her to joke at home, but now that Tang Tang was here, Cheng Minjing felt embarrassed. I'm thinking about it. The movie also says that girls with big breasts should be better at that. Jean Bei was deep in thought. Jean Bei's answer almost drove Cheng Minjing crazy. She had only scolded Jean Bei, but she did not expect that Jean Bei would take it seriously. You are watching porn at home? Tang Tang, on the other hand, bulged her eyes. In her eyes, such questions would only be discussed in porn movies. No. It's just level 3, Jean Bei said casually. You are so filthy. You are goddesses outside, but you are fujoshis at home. Don't lead Xiao Chun astray. Tang Tang frowned slightly. She really could not help it. When she thought about how Xiao Chun still regarded Cheng Minjing as his goddess, she felt a little indignant for him. Cheng Minjing was more or less infuriated by Tang Tang. She did not want to watch it yesterday, but Jean Bei tempted her to watch it. She did not expect that Jean Bei would talk about it outside. So what? It means that our sexual orientation is normal. Some of us are not, and prefer to be tomboys. Jean Bei, however, sniffed. You. Tang Tang pointed at Jean Bei, and did not know what to say. She did not want to be a tomboy, either. However, Tang Tang did not say anything else. She knew that Jean Bei was an eccentric person, and that she was certainly no match for her. Besides, it was impossible for Cheng Minjing to tell Xiao Chun about the level 3 movies at home. What should she say? It was as if she was speaking ill of him behind his back. She only hoped that Xiao Chun would know what kind of people they were. Seeing that Jean Bei had won, Cheng Minjing was greatly relieved, but she was somewhat unhappy. What's wrong with me watching the level 3 movies? Tang Tang is really a busybody. I don't believe that you haven't watched them before. I am in my adolescence. It is perfectly normal for me to be curious. The beetle turned out of the parking lot of the Azure Sea Palace and saw Xiao Chun running against the scorching sun on the roadside. Suddenly, Cheng Minjing's heart skipped a beat. Was the guy really Xiao Chun? Was he the foppish playboy who pursued Ke Lin and Shin Jingxian? From the rearview mirror, Tang Tang saw that Cheng Minjing was staring out of the window in a trance. Confused, she turned her head and looked out of the window. However, Xiao Chun had been left behind by the car. What Tang Tang saw was a billboard of a popular TV series called Beast. She could not help but curse that Xiao Chun was infatuated with her. Chapter 82. Because of all the things that had happened, the atmosphere in the car was not very harmonious. Nobody talked anymore until the car was parked in the parking lot of the school. Tang Tang got out of the car and simply thanked the driver casually. Then, she walked to the gate of the sports ground quickly. She was going to pick up Xiao Chun. Looking at Tang Tang's back, Cheng Minjing slightly frowned and snorted. Then, she dragged Jean Beibei to the teaching building. Cousin Minjing, aren't we going to visit my cousin-in-law? Asked Jean Beibei. What for? He is physically strong. He won't die, said Cheng Minjing emotionlessly. At this moment, Lu Zhenming and Skinny Monkey were sitting on the flower bed in front of the parking lot. Lu Zhenming looked at Cheng Minjing's back as she left, and an infatuated look flashed in his eyes. Where's that idiot Xiao Chun? Jean Beibei's car is small, and Tang Tang is fat. She can only sit in the front passenger seat. Cheng Minjing is sitting in the back seat. How can she squeeze Xiao Chun with her? He must have left her on the road, right? Skinny Monkey speculated. Yes. Lu Zhenming was very satisfied. I guess Xiao Chun is too poor to pay for a taxi, right? Brother Ming, are we just going to let it go? Yu Xiaochuan is not reliable, is he? Not only did we fail to teach Xiao Chun a lesson, we even lost more than $1 million. Skinny Monkey complained angrily. He was still holding a grudge about the feast in the canteen. He had thought that he would be able to enjoy a good meal. But Xiao Chun took all the food away himself. If it were before, Lu Zhenming would certainly have stopped him if Skinny Monkey talked about Yu Xiaochuan in such a way. But today Lu Zhenming had his own opinions too. Forget it. It's better to count on ourselves than on others. Xiao Chun is smart and skilled. Regular tricks won't be able to deal with him. He used to be a young master, not a bumpkin. We have to figure out a plan if we want to deal with him. Yes. He is a tough guy. I'm told that he was a useless young master in the past. But he is quite good at beating people up. He is still in the hospital right now. Skinny Monkey nodded. Brother Ming, I feel that if we want to deal with Xiao Chun, we have to be more ruthless. Normal people really aren't his match. Isn't the underground fighting arena controlled by our Lu family? We can let Xiao Chun fight in the underground boxing field. You mean let him die in the underground boxing field? Lu Zhenming's eyes lit up after listening, but then he frowned. The key is how to fool him. This kid doesn't seem to be a fool. He won't go just because we ask him to. Brother Ming, isn't it simple? What does Xiao Chun lack the most? He lacks money. At that time, we will tell him that there is a large prize money in the underground boxing field. We are not afraid that he won't take the risk. Skinny Monkey smiled and said, Moreover, we can weaken the strength of the boxers in the underground boxing field. In fact, we don't have to weaken them too much. The boxers in the underground boxing field are basically not at the first level of internal strength. Their strength is not as strong as Ma Gang men. Xiao Chun, that poor guy, will not let go of such a good opportunity to make money. At that time, we will let him win a few rounds first, and then find a master martial artist to kill him directly. Lu Zhenming quickly made a plan. He was born in the underworld family. It was not a big deal to kill someone. Yu Xiaochuan didn't want to kill Xiao Chun, but Lu Zhenming didn't care. The Cheng family and the Xiao family. If they really cared about Xiao Chun wouldn't be like this now. The two were plotting. Xiao Chun and Tang Tang just walked in from the school gate. Lu Zhenming winked at the Skinny Monkey. The two stood up and walked toward Xiao Chun. It was nothing for Xiao Chun to run back to the school from the Azure Sea Palace. Seeing Tang Tang waiting for him at the school gate, he felt warm in his heart. But when he saw Lu Zhenming coming over, Xiao Chun narrowed his eyes. Xiao Chun was very sure that Lu Zhenming wanted to trick him. If Xiao Chun hadn't been a cultivator, who had just been promoted to the 3rd level of the refinement chi stage, he would have been tricked by him. Isn't this Xiao Chun? Did you have a good lunch? Lu Zhenming tried to make his expression look very enthusiastic. What happened at noon was really unlucky. I accidentally broke a bowl. It was only 1,000,000 yuan. It was wet and broken. Since young Master Lu is so rich, why don't you give me some? Xiao Chun didn't expose him. The purpose of transferring to the 2nd high school was to keep a low profile. Xiao Chun didn't want to start a feud with the Lu family as soon as he arrived. It was not conducive to his investigation of the real culprit behind the scenes. Moreover, he still hadn't figured out that Lu Zhenming was hostile to him. Was it because of Cheng Minjing or because of something else? I haven't been free recently. Although 1,000,000 yuan is nothing to our Lu family, Xiao Chun, you should also know that our pocket money isn't much. Lu Zhenming was worried that he couldn't find a topic to lure Xiao Chun. This Xiao Chun delivered the topic to his door. It was really like a sleepy day bumping into a pillow, which made him extremely excited. However, if Xiao Chun is short of money, I know a way to get money. Steelgate used to get a lot of money. Oh, let's hear it. Xiao Chun naturally didn't think that Lu Zhenming had any good intentions. Of course, it didn't prevent Xiao Chun from listening to it as a joke. Tang Tang winked at Xiao Chun, indicating that he shouldn't get too close to Lu Zhenming. But Xiao Chun ignored her helplessly. There is an underground black boxing ring in the west of the city. As long as you win an underground boxing match, you will get 100,000 yuan prize. Steelgate used to go there twice and won 200,000 yuan. Lu Zhenming said vividly, Xiao Chun, I think you are not weak. Ma Steelgate is not your opponent. If you are short of money, you can try it. Of course, if you are afraid of death, forget it. After all, fists and feet have no eyes. Underground black boxing ring? Xiao Chun's heart suddenly jumped. It was not because of the 100,000 yuan prize, but because a master at the peak of the 3rd stage of inner strength, who came to kill Xiao Chun a few days ago, had something like a registration card in his pocket. On it were the words number 3 boxer, vicious wolf. At that time, Xiao Chun guessed that this person was a boxer, or an underground black boxing boxer. Now Lu Zhenming mentioned this underground black boxing ring. Was there any connection between them? Could it be that the number 3 boxer, named Vicious Wolf, was found by Lu Zhenming? Thinking about it carefully, this possibility was very big. The Lu family, where Lu Zhenming was from, was involved in the underworld. The underground black boxing ring also belonged to the scope of the gang operation. Thinking of this, Xiao Chun wanted to see it. He really wanted to know who had been targeting him behind his back. Yes, Xiao Chun, you also know what our family does. The boss of this place has some friendship with my family. If you want to go, I can take you to see it. If you think you can go up and fight. If you can't, there is no loss. Lu Zhenming said. Then let's go and see. Xiao Chun hesitated for a moment, and his face showed a trace of interest. Okay, let's take the exam first. After the exam tomorrow, I will take you there. Lu Zhenming also knew to stop while he was ahead. This kind of thing would be lost if he talked too much. He was already very excited when he successfully fooled Xiao Chun to fight in the underground boxing ring. In his opinion, he really had the talent of fooling people. Didn't Xiao Chun fall for it at once? Lu Zhenming left with the thin monkey-like man. Tang Tang was so angry that she stamped her feet next to Xiao Chun. Well, Xiao Chun, you've become capable, haven't you? Underground boxing, you even dare to fight. Don't you want to die? Why? Do you feel that selling breakfast is not enough, and you feel wronged? Oh, I saw that he was beaming with joy and was quite funny, so I just played along with him. Xiao Chun shrugged. Haha, I thought you were greedy for the 100,000 yuan. Tang Tang breathed a sigh of relief. You don't look like a fool who is looking for death. Lu Zhenming felt that he had successfully fooled Xiao Chun, and he walked with some elation. Brother Ming, I feel that your acting just now can win an Oscar. It's so successful that Xiao Chun the idiot fell for it at once. The thin monkey-like man said flatteringly. You also said that he is an idiot who only sees money. He is short of money now. Let's seize this point and play him to death. Lu Zhenming also felt that he was very smart. He found that without Yu Xiaochuan's help, he was also very good. That's right. Even if Xiao Chun was the former Xiao Chun, he was also a playboy with no IQ. If it were Brother Ming, with such a beautiful fiancée, he would have already won her heart. The thin monkey-like man said with deep thought. Haha, maybe there is something wrong with this kid's taste. Maybe he likes Tang Tang? After Lu Zhenming said that, he laughed first. Young master is from Silk Fate. By the way, Brother Ming, I have already talked to Teacher Lei about this exam. He will help you pass the answers. You should be able to deal with a good result. The thin monkey-like man said. Oh. Lu Zhenming's eyes lit up. That's great. If I can pass all the exams, my dad will be happy. Maybe he will reward me with a few million yuan. Lu Siwen always hoped that Lu Zhenming would become a cultured person. As the saying goes, a gangster is not terrible, but a cultured gangster is terrible. Lu Siwen, who mingled in the underworld, believed in this more. He pinned all his hopes on Lu Zhenming. However, Lu Zhenming disappointed him again and again. This kid was not the material to study at all. Haha, I guess Xiao Chen will be the last in our class this time. At that time, no matter what Brother Lu says, it will be impossible for him to be the last. The thin monkey-like man thought of Xiao Chun and laughed sarcastically. If you didn't mention it, I wouldn't have thought of it. Will this kid copy Tang Tang during the exam? Lu Zhenming thought of himself and Xiao Chun. Xiao Chun was not Xiao Chun now. If this kid was the last in the exam, he would probably be expelled from the school. Therefore, if Xiao Chun wanted to turn the situation around, he must copy Tang Tang. Brother Ming, you mean we should report Xiao Chun to the teacher for plagiarism? The thin monkey-like man suddenly thought of something. We can hold back. I'm afraid that Xiao Chun won't dare to fight tomorrow. If so, our plan will be in vain. We can make trouble for him in the school first. Lu Zhenming thought of Xiao Chun using Director Su to pressure him in the cafeteria. Since you used the school rules to mess with me, then I will give you a taste of your own medicine. But we need evidence. We must hit the nail on the head. We can't give him room to argue. Chapter 83. I have a good idea. We can ask Mr. Lei to send a copy to Xiao Chun when he sends a message. Then we can report him for looking at his phone during the exam. When the teacher sees the answer on his phone, he will think that there is yellow mud in his pants. Even if it is not sh*t, it is sh*t. As the first strategist of Lu Zhenming, Skinny Monkey was smart. He quickly thought of a way to punish Xiao Chun. That's a good idea. You can report him. I can't show up. I'm still pretending to be friends with Xiao Chun. Lu Zhenming thought for a moment and said, Okay, Brother Ming. Skinny Monkey nodded. The test in the afternoon was English. Xiao Chun wasn't very good at it in the past, but this subject required him to memorize a lot of things. Xiao Chun memorized it for a few days. When the test papers were handed out, Xiao Chun started writing at a very fast speed. Although Xiao Chun wasn't interested in the $10,000 scholarship for the time being, if he did badly in the test, he could easily be expelled, right? He had no background now, so he had to think about things more thoroughly. Half of the exam was over, and there was about half an hour left. Bang! A fart sounded. Under the surprised gaze of the whole class, Skinny Monkey covered his stomach and ran to the toilet. The students sitting around him all covered their noses. Lu Zhenming, who was sitting behind Skinny Monkey, almost vomited because of the fart. At first, he did not think much about it. But after waiting for more than 10 minutes, Skinny Monkey still did not come back. Lu Zhenming was a little anxious. They had made an appointment to report Xiao Chun 20 minutes before the end of the exam. In this way, they could ensure that Xiao Chun copied almost all of Tang Tang's answers, which made Xiao Chun fall from the clouds with great expectation. This kind of feeling must make Xiao Chun want to die. However, Skinny Monkey did not come back after he went to the toilet. Lu Zhenming was so anxious that he often looked outside the door, but he could not see Skinny Monkey. He stretched his neck so hard that it almost fell off. Lu Zhenming, what are you doing? Why are you looking around instead of focusing on your exam? At this moment, Director Su of the Office of Academic Affairs, as the main invigilator, was going from classroom to classroom. As soon as he entered grade 12 class 1's classroom, he saw Lu Zhenming looking around. For Director Su, Lu Zhenming was still quite afraid. As long as this guy called his father, he would be beaten up when he got home. Lu Zhenming quickly said, "No, nothing. I finished writing. I was just looking around. Just take a look. Are you trying to plagiarize?" Director Su glared at Lu Zhenming. How could that be possible? But I just saw Xiaochen playing with his phone. When Lu Zhenming saw Director Su, he remembered the humiliating history in the cafeteria. Because he was anxious, Skinny Monkey did not show up yet. He was so excited that he reported Xiaochen. Cheng Minjing frowned. She knew Xiaochen's academic performance. He was the last one every year in number 1 middle school. It was impossible for him to have a good result after he transferred to number 2 middle school. Did he really cheat? Tang Tang was shocked. Number 2 middle school's rules were very strict. If someone cheated in the exam, he would be given a big demerit. If he did it 3 times, he would be expelled. Xiaochen had just transferred here a few days ago. And he would be given a big demerit? Xiaochen, are you playing with your phone? Director Su knew that Xiaochen was Cheng Zhongming's friend, and he just got the investment from the Cheng family. In the next school board meeting, he was likely to be appointed as the vice principal. At this time, he naturally did not want to offend Xiaochen too much. Although Xiaochen was Cheng Minjing's follower, he still had to look at the dog's owner before he hit the dog. Playing with my phone. Xiaochen was a little puzzled. Was there something wrong with Lu Zhenming? Sometimes it was good and sometimes it was bad. How could he falsely accuse me of cheating in the exam? But Xiaochen did not play with his phone at all, so he was not afraid of what Lu Zhenming said. Director Su, I did not play with my phone. I have been answering questions. Although Lu Zhenming regretted his impulsiveness, he could not back down at this time. He could only bite the bullet and said, reporting to Director Su, Xiaochen just played with his phone there. Director Su frowned. Under the watchful eyes of the public, it was not good to be partial to Xiaochen. He could only say, Xiaochen, take out your phone and let me have a look. Okay, no problem. Xiaochen did not care. He took out his phone directly from his pocket and handed it to Director Su. Director Su took Xiaochen's mobile phone, looked through the call records and text messages, and then put it back on Xiaochen's table. Lu Zhenming, there is nothing in Xiaochen's phone. Even if he played with his phone, he would look at the time, right? Impossible. Lu Zhenming was looking at Director Su expectantly. In his opinion, as long as Director Su saw the text messages, Xiaochen would be dead. However, the scene he hoped for did not happen. He was anxious all of a sudden. He rushed over, picked up Xiaochen's mobile phone, and looked through the text messages. Seeing that there were no new messages in Xiaochen's mobile phone, Lu Zhenming was dumbfounded. He was a little crazy. Impossible, there must be. Why is there no new messages? It was no wonder that Lu Zhenming was crazy. Xiaochen's mobile phone did not turn to offline mode, and he had been looking at Xiaochen from the corner of his eyes during the exam. But he did not see Xiaochen take out his mobile phone to delete the messages. In fact, his idea was that if he reported Xiaochen when he took out his mobile phone, the effect would be better. Nonsense. Xiaochen frowned. Director Su, you see. Lu Zhenming, have you had enough? Director Su was also a little unhappy at this time. In his opinion, Xiaochen must have cheated Lu Zhenming of a meal before. So Lu Zhenming wanted to take revenge. Impossible, I received it. Why didn't you receive it? Gah. Lu Zhenming suddenly realized that he had made a slip of the tongue. You received it? Director Su turned his head and looked at Lu Zhenming coldly. Take out your mobile phone and let me have a look. What's so good about my mobile phone? That, Director Su, it's okay. I'm going back to answer the questions. Lu Zhenming wanted to leave subconsciously. However, he was grabbed by Director Su. He took out a mobile phone from his trouser pocket and looked at it quickly. When he finished looking at it, His face had become gloomy. Lu Zhenming, it seems that you are the bad guy who reported it first. You used your mobile phone to cheat in the exam, but you still falsely accused a classmate. Your results in this exam will be cancelled. You will have a major demerit. You falsely accused a classmate. You will have another major demerit. If there is one more time, you will be fired directly. Lu Zhenming really wanted to cry, but he had no tears. He cursed the skinny monkey in his heart. This kid could have gone to the toilet at any time, but he did it at such a critical moment. As a result, Lu Zhenming reported Xiao Chen. Not only did he not report it clearly, but he also got himself into trouble. Director Su snorted coldly and walked out of grade 12 class 1. As for Lu Zhenming, he could only return to his seat resentfully. The more he thought about it, the angrier he felt. After Director Su left, the exam was also over. At this time, the skinny monkey walked back with a pale face. Skinny monkey, what the hell did you do? Did you fall into the toilet or something? Lu Zhenming was angry when he saw the skinny monkey. Brother Ming, I had diarrhea. The skinny monkey didn't know that Lu Zhenming's exam results were cancelled, but he knew that according to the agreement, he should report Xiao Chen. In the end, he didn't come out from the toilet. Brother Ming, you went to have lunch with young Master Kun. I didn't have anything to eat, so I bought a few skewers of fried eggs with stinky tofu at the roadside stall. Lu Zhenming didn't know what to say. When I saw that you didn't come back, I panicked and went to report Xiao Chen myself. In the end, there was no message on Xiao Chen's phone. Instead, Director Su found out that there was a message on my phone. Now my exam results are invalid, and I even have a major demerit. With a major demerit, Lu Zhenming wasn't afraid. With his identity and background, even if there were 100 major demerits, the school wouldn't expel him. However, the key problem was that if his father Lu Siwen knew about it, then he would be miserable. If he really got a demerit because of fighting, then forget it. The Lu family was in the underworld. Fighting was common, so Lu Siwen wouldn't care. What Lu Siwen cared about was Lu Zhenming's academic results. Cheating in the exam was enough for Lu Zhenming to be covered in bruises and bruises. It can't be. I asked Teacher Lei to send him a text message. The skinny monkey was a little puzzled. Teacher Lei couldn't have forgotten. I'm also puzzled. Teacher Lei is quite reliable. Could it be that Xiao Chen's phone is in arrears? Lu Zhenming was very puzzled. At this time, Xiao Chen walked over with a smile and sat directly next to Lu Zhenming. This seat used to belong to Ma Gangmen. This kid was hospitalized these few days, so it was empty. Young Master Lu, did you send me the answers on my phone? Xiao Chen waved his phone and showed the text message to Lu Zhenming. He had dodged a bullet before. When he woke up in the morning, because he was looking for the dog, his SIM card was new. He kept it in his phone and forgot to change it. After the exam just now, he felt that something was wrong, so he changed his SIM card. Not long after he changed it, Xiao Chen's phone received a text message. It was the answers to the previous English exam. Xiao Chen glanced at it roughly. The correct rate wasn't low. It was at least 80% correct. Ugh. Lu Zhenming was dumbfounded. He stared at Xiao Chen's phone screen. Wasn't this the previous English answer? And the sender was Lei Dianfeng's sock puppet phone number. Lu Zhenming knew this phone number. But why did Xiao Chen only receive it now? Could it be that the signal was delayed? Thinking about it, this was the only possibility. Lu Zhenming had an urge to cry. He didn't succeed in reporting Xiao Chen. Instead, he got himself into trouble. The most annoying thing was that the little friendship that he had just established with Xiao Chen was destroyed just like that? No, absolutely not. He still wanted to let Xiao Chen go to the underground boxing arena to fight. He couldn't fall out with him. Thinking of this, Lu Zhenming looked at Xiao Chen with a blank face. That Xiao Chen, what are you talking about? I have a split personality. Did I send you the answer just now? I don't remember. I don't remember anything. Skinny Monkey knows that sometimes I'm like this. I don't know what I did before. It's like I'm possessed by a ghost. Chapter 84. Yes. The thin monkey-like nodded quickly. He guessed that Lu Zhenming wanted to shirk the responsibility. Really? You promised to give me 100,000 yuan. Xiaochen said. Is that true? Lu Zhiming was stunned. He didn't expect that Xiaochen would take advantage of him. But he couldn't say that he didn't say it. He just said that he didn't know that he was possessed. If he refused now, wouldn't he be exposed? Thinking of this, Lu Zhiming turned to look at the thin monkey like. That. I had diarrhea before. I don't know. The thin monkey like didn't know whether he should say yes or no. Mr. Lu, are you trying to renege on the debt? That's why you pretended to be possessed to deceive me? Xiaochen suddenly shook his head with disappointment and said, Forget it. You are not trustworthy. I won't play with you anymore. Don't come to me after the exam tomorrow. Hey, don't. Lu Zhiming was shocked. If he didn't come to him after school tomorrow, didn't it mean that he wouldn't go to the underground boxing? Wouldn't the previous arrangements be invalid? Lu Zhiming had no choice but to bite his teeth and said, Okay, 100,000 yuan. But I don't have it now. Can you wait for a few days? Next month my dad will give me pocket money, and I will give it to you. That's more like it. I will continue to play with you tomorrow. Xiaochen nodded and turned to leave. F***ck. Lu Zhiming looked at Xiaochen's back. He was so angry that he gnashed his teeth and glared at the thin monkey like. See, this is all your fault. If you eat stinky tofu again, I will throw you into the cesspool. Don't come out. Xiaochen returned to his seat. At this time, Zheng Xiaoquan was talking with Tang Tang. When he saw Xiaochen, he asked, Why did Lu Zhiming come to you just now? I didn't expect that he could use such a low-level trick. He framed you for cheating? Doesn't he know you're a straight-A student? F***ck. He denied it again. He said that he was schizophrenic and didn't know what happened. This person is sick. Let's not care about him. Xiaochen shook his head. Of course, he did not believe that Lu Zhiming was sick. However, compared to exposing him, 100,000 yuan was still more important. Zheng Xiaoquan was stunned. How could he say that? The future of the Lu family was hopeless. By the way, I just told Tang Tang that we're going to the bookstore to buy some review materials after school. Are you coming? I'm not going. Right now. Xiaochen wanted to hurry to the pharmacy to buy some medicine and set foot on a higher level of strength as soon as possible. That's fine. We can lend it to you after we buy it. Anyway, it's close by. Zheng Xiaoquan nodded his head. Tang Tang looked at Xiaochen helplessly and pointed at Cheng Menjing. Obviously, she misunderstood that Xiaochen wanted to go home with his goddess. Xiaochen did not know what to say. He simply picked up his backpack and left the classroom. However, before he walked far away, Xiaochen's phone rang. He took it out and saw that it was from Jean Beibei. Cousin-in-law. Cousin Menjing asked if you would like to take a ride with us. Only Jean Beibei could send such a messy message. One moment, she was cousin-in-law. The next moment, she was cousin Menjing. In fact, the two of them were not related at all. No thanks. I'm going to buy some medicine. You can go back now. Xiaochen replied and then deleted the message. The fewer people who knew the relationship between him and Cheng Menjing, the better. Xiaochen ran forward. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw that Jean Beibei's red beetle passed by him. It seemed to have slowed down for a moment before it disappeared at the corner of the street. Hong Yan was obviously surprised that Xiaochen came to the pharmacy so early that day. She stared at Xiaochen with blinking eyes. Are you here to buy medicine? May I greet you, Grandpa? Okay. Thank you. Xiaochen moved his eyes away from Hong Yan and nodded with a smile. Every time he came to the pharmacy, it was always a pleasant thing to see Hong Yan. She was a girl of classical beauty. She was the opposite of the modern atmosphere of the metropolis, but she did not seem out of place. Instead, she was like a hint of tranquility in a noisy corner. Hong Yan put down the book in her hands and went to the back of the pharmacy to greet someone. However, Xiaochen's eyes fell on the book that Hong Yan was reading just now. Almanac of Medicine? The name made Xiaochen slightly dazed. What kind of book was that? Xiaochen had heard about the famous medical classics before, such as Compendium of Materia Medica and Inner Canon of the Yellow Emperor. But he had never heard of this Almanac of Medicine. The editor was Lin Dongfang? Who was Lin Dongfang? Was he an expert in medicine? Xiaochen was puzzled. Hong Yin had already walked over with old Chen. Hong Yin saw Xiao Chen peeping at her book. She frowned slightly. It's not good to peep at other people's things. I'm just curious. You are a girl. Why do you read books every day? I thought it was a romance novel. Xiao Chen smiled awkwardly. What is a romance novel? This time, it was Hong Yan's turn to be slightly dazed. Romance novel? Xiao Chen did not know how to explain. Did this classical girl really not know? Or was she deliberately teasing him? However, looking at her innocent and curious big eyes, there did not seem to be any lies. Did she really not know? It is a storybook that describes the love between men and women. You are talking about Jean Ping Mei? Hong Yan's face, which did not have any makeup on, suddenly turned red. She stared at Xiao Chen as if Xiao Chen was a lecher. Uft! Xiao Chen slapped his forehead. Jean Ping Mei was a romance novel? Alright, it could be considered an ancient romance. But this was not what he was talking about. Alright, Yin Yin, go read your book. I will get the medicine for him. Grandpa Chen looked at Hong Yin and said with a smile, but he did not explain. The environment that Hong Yin grew up in did not have any romance novels at all. In the Sutra Depository, there were only some ancient books on cultivation and medicine. As for classical classics, there were also some, and Jean Ping Mei was one of them. Hong Yin was not sensible when she was young, and thought that the ancient books on medicine were boring. So she secretly looked for some storybooks to read. Just like that, she casually found a book called Jean Ping Mei. Thus, Jean Ping Mei became little Hong Yan's first young girl teacher. However, Hong Yan did not have the courage to finish reading it. Every time she read it, she felt like her body was burning. There was an indescribable feeling. Was it comfortable or uncomfortable? Anyway, after a long time, her whole body felt like it was being electrocuted. Sometimes, she would even lose control, which made her feel ashamed. It was as if she had done something evil. Hence, she stopped reading it. As she grew older and understood some things, she was even more embarrassed to read it. This matter was a secret hidden in Hong Yan's heart. No one knew about it. But today, when Xiao Chen suddenly mentioned it, Hong Yan subconsciously thought that Xiao Chen was talking about Jean Ping Mei. This feeling of being seen through made Hong Yan's heart beat rapidly. In Hong Yan's mind, did Xiao Chen read it too? Did he deliberately say it to tempt her? Originally, Hong Yan had a good impression of Xiao Chen. But now, she instantly classified Xiao Chen as a lecher. Xiao Chen was wronged. When Hong Yan left, she did not forget to glare at Xiao Chen. She was a classical beauty. Even if she glared at someone, it was still charming. However, Xiao Chen was a little puzzled. How did he provoke this classical beauty? Old sir, here is 120,000. Xiao Chen put the 120,000 that he earned from the rich woman on the counter. Please help me get the medicine. Oh, you have collected it so quickly? Young man, are you pretending to be poor in front of me? Old Chen looked at the money on the counter and was a little surprised. Of course, he was just joking. Through observation, he could see that Xiao Chen was really short of money. How could it be? Xiao Chen was a little embarrassed. I helped someone this morning and earned it. Old Chen nodded and did not ask much. He took the money and quickly helped Xiao Chen to get the medicine. Finally, he gave a bag of medicine to Xiao Chen. Thank you. Xiao Chen nodded. This medicine was 120,000, but it was actually the price after a discount. Xiao Chen was very grateful to the old man. The next medicine will cost 200,000. This is also the lowest price. Old Chen looked at Xiao Chen and said, although I am the person in charge of this pharmacy, I am not the boss. I can't do too many and profitable business. I understand. You have taken care of me. I will find a way. Xiao Chen was not surprised at all, but the price of 200,000 still made him smack his tongue. This was an astronomical figure for him now. Old Chen did not say anything more. Xiao Chen left the pharmacy and walked home quickly. Cheng Minjing and Jean Beibei were playing this new sports game in the living room. As soon as Xiao Chen entered the door, he saw the shocking boobs shaking, which was even more real than DOA. Jean Beibei is really sexy, Xiao Chen thought. If I really married Cheng Minjing, would Jean Beibei be my dowry? That sounds good. I can shake them when I have nothing to do. It must be very cool. It was not rare for the ancient warrior families to have a dowry when the older female cousin got married. They kept the ancient traditions and customs, so it was very normal to have a dowry. Of course, the dowry was only limited to the weaker families. Jean Bebe, who was originally the eldest daughter of the Jean family, did not need a dowry at all. What are you looking at? Your eyeballs are almost popping out. It is beautiful, isn't it? Seeing Xiao Chen's dazed look, Cheng Minjing immediately felt uncomfortable. Am I so unattractive? You looked at Shen Jingxian in number 1 middle school, Tang Tang in number 2 middle school, and Jean Bebe when you are home. What are you doing? Well, it's okay. Xiao Chen did not know how to answer. If he said it was beautiful, the eldest daughter would definitely scold him. If he said it was not, Jean Bebe would be unhappy. So he had to compromise. Are you looking at me? Jean Bebe, however, held her chest with her hands. Blushing, she asked excitedly, "Cousin-in-law, am I prettier than my cousin?" Chapter 85. Well, when Xiao Chun was about to say something, he sensed a fierce look coming from the lady's eyes. Xiao Chun said in a hurry, "Speaking of prettier, your cousin is prettier." "Humph. At least your eyes are not damaged." Cheng Minjing was obviously satisfied with Xiao Chen's answer. "I think so too. This is not fun. My cousin and her husband are cheating me together." Jean Bebe pouted. As the saying goes, a woman with big breasts is 70% more beautiful. That's why a woman is 30% more beautiful. Cheng Minjing corrected her. "Yes, I am fair and have big breasts. 3 plus 7 equals 10. That means I am very beautiful," Jean Bebe said matter-of-factly. "Cousin Minjing is at most 7 or 8 points. Xiao Chun, what do you think of me?" Cheng Minjing was about to explode. "You are all 10 points. Is that okay? I'm going back to brew the medicine. I'm done talking to you." Xiao Chun felt that he shouldn't have been involved in this. "Next time, I'll dig my eyes out and let you see my breasts again. Will you see something wrong with me?" However, these few days of sharing a room had allowed Xiao Chun to truly see the other side of his fiancée. He used to think that she was cold and condescending, but now that he knew her better, he realized that a girl with a princess syndrome could also be so cute. She was not really cold and condescending. It was just a facade that she did not understand. Do you see that? The eyes of the public are clear. You are just better than me because of your breasts. Even though I don't have breasts, I still draw with you. It proves that I am prettier than you, Cheng Minjing said proudly. It took her a lot of effort to overcome the disadvantage of her small breasts with Xiao Chen's help. "He is my cousin-in-law. Of course he is on your side. If he were your cousin-in-law, I would have drawn with 20 points, Jean Bebe said indifferently. "He gave you 10 points for my sake. If he wasn't your cousin-in-law, he would have given you 1 point, Cheng Minjing said. "Cousin Minjing has finally admitted that he is my cousin-in-law. So be it, haha," Jean Bebe said with a chuckle. I'm so mad at you." Cheng Minjing did not expect that she would be tricked by Jean Bebe. Xiao Chun returned to his room and placed the medicinal herbs into the electric clay pot. Needless to say, Yi Xiaoya's device was really convenient. If it was the previous Xiao Chun, he might really use the old method to boil the medicinal herbs. "Does this medicine also take 5 hours?" Xiao Chun asked in his heart. "Not bad, it's also 5 hours. The elder heaven ancestor said. "After taking it, just use the exercise method I taught you, and let the medicine be completely absorbed by your body." "Okay." Xiao Chun nodded and set the time for the electric clay pot. This was the advantage of the electric clay pot. If he forgot the time, it would stop automatically, and the medicinal herbs would not be overheated or burned. After that, Xiao Chun went out of the room and went to the kitchen to prepare dinner. He did not need to eat instant noodles at night. He bought a lot of delicious food for lunch and could eat it after heating it up. Maybe because it was still early, Jean Bebe did not leave immediately after dinner. Instead, she continued to play the somatosensory game with Cheng Minjing. Xiao Chen's medicinal herbs were almost done. He did not dare to continue watching the boobs in the living room and went back to take the medicine. Of course, Xiao Chun was thinking whether he should install a camera in the living room in the name of security. Of course, it was just a thought. Xiao Chun would not do it if it was too filthy. After drinking up the medicinal herbs, Xiao Chun began to exercise according to the exercise method taught by the elder heaven ancestor. Cheng Minjing and Jin Beibei were also jumping in the living room. Therefore, Xiao Chun's movements were not so abrupt. When Xiao Chun saw that a layer of blackish-purple oily sludge had once again appeared on his body, he was somewhat astonished. Previously, when he took the third set of medicine, this phenomenon had already disappeared. Today, when he switched to a new set of medicine, it actually appeared again. As if he knew what Xiao Chun was thinking, the elder heaven ancestor said, "Every level has a process of bone and marrow cleansing. You are a human, not an immortal. You have to eat grains every day. When you go out, you have to expel the toxins from car exhaust, smog, and sandstorms. You are peeping at me again." Xiao Chun went to take a shower gloomily. Not long after Xiao Chun took a shower and was drying himself, the door was pushed open, which gave Xiao Chun a fright. Why are there so many female gangsters in this villa? Is it Yi Xiaoya again? It seems that I have to lock the door from the inside next time. Xiao Chun hurried to cover himself with the towel. "Cousin-in-law, what are you doing? Clean yourself up and go out with us." Jin Beibei pushed the door open and shouted. However, when she saw Xiao Chun's appearance, she immediately widened her eyes. "Don't look at him. Don't look at him. He has a needle's eye. He has a needle's eye." That being said, Jin Beibei's eyes still widened as she eyed Xiao Chun up and down. "Well, Beibei, can you leave for a moment?" With Jin Beibei standing there, Xiao Chun could not move. He could not even put on his clothes. If he moved, he would be exposed. "Beibei, what are you doing? Why are you dilly-dallying? Quickly tell Xiao Chun to get ready." Cheng Minjing put on her coat. Seeing that Jin Beibei had not come out of Xiao Chun's room yet, she immediately grew anxious and walked over quickly. The moment she entered the room, she was dumbfounded. "What's going on?" "Ah!" Cheng Minjing closed her eyes subconsciously and dragged Jin Beibei out. Xiao Chun took the opportunity to push the door and lock it from the inside. "Beibei, what are you doing?" Cheng Minjing knew that it was not Xiao Chun's fault. He was taking off his clothes in her room. What was wrong with that? However, Jin Beibei was standing there and watching all the time. She even drew Cheng Minjing's attention by accident, which drove her crazy. "It's very pretty, isn't it? I think that you and Xiao Chun are truly a match made in heaven. He looks at you, and you look at him. One day, you take off your clothes, and the two of you will look at each other. Cousin Minjing, are you jealous?" Looking at Cheng Minjing, who had gone on a rampage, Jin Beibei said with a smile, "Rest assured. I'm checking it for you, Cousin Minjing." "Checking what for me?" Cheng Minjing immediately questioned Jin Beibei when she saw that Jin Beibei was quibbling. "Today I saw that my cousin-in-law ran so fast. There shouldn't be any problem with his abilities in that regard. However, it only proves his endurance, not his capability. Therefore, I secretly checked it for you at the risk of having a needle in my eye to see how much capability my cousin-in-law has." Jin Beibei, however, spoke righteously and solemnly. "Then did you see it?" Cheng Minjing felt that Jin Beibei had no sense of shame at all. "No. It's a pity that my cousin-in-law reacted too fast, and his private parts were immediately covered by the towel." Jin Beibei said regretfully. "It seems that there are only two possibilities." "What two possibilities?" Cheng Minjing held back her anger and asked curiously. "Either my cousin-in-law's private parts are too small for me to see, or my cousin-in-law's private parts are too large for me to see." Jin Beibei analyzed. "I see that you are so curious. Why don't you talk to Grandpa Jin and change the engagement so that you can marry him? There is no need to analyze it. You will know his capability after a simple test." Cheng Minjing had indeed discussed the private matters between men and women with Jin Beibei before. After all, they had reached puberty, and it was perfectly normal for them to talk in the bedroom. However, the topic today was already beyond her tolerance. "You still have to test it. It concerns your sexual happiness for the rest of your life." Jin Beibei, however, said, "Right, Cousin Minjing, didn't you check my cousin-in-law's private parts? Don't you know his capability?" "Beibei, how do you want to die?" The top of Chung Minjing's head was ablaze, and she was about to explode. Nothing. Pretend that I didn't say anything. Jean Bebe flinched. She was still quite scared that Chung Minjing would burst into fury. Although she was fearless and played pranks on other people all the time, Chung Minjing had always been her sister since childhood. Therefore, she had always been in awe of her. She only dared to mumble in a low voice, "I dare not admit what I have done." After hearing the first half of Jean Bebe's sentence, Chung Minjing was about to say "you are sensible," but she almost burst out again when she heard the second half. Thankfully, Xiaochen had already put on his clothes and walked out. Seeing the two of them staring at each other, he did not know what was going on. "What's wrong with you? Where are we going?" "Jingxian is here. I'll give you a chance. Come with us." Chung Minjing glanced at Xiaochen and said domineeringly. In fact, because it was already late, Chung Minjing felt that it was not safe for her and Jean Bebe to be two girls. "Okay." Xiaochen nodded. "Humph, hearing that Shin Jingxian is here, you agreed so happily?" Seeing that Xiaochen agreed so quickly, Chung Minjing was a little unhappy. "I just feel that it is fun to go out with Miss at night." Xiaochen smiled bitterly and said in accordance with Chung Minjing's temper. "Aha, you are sensible." Chung Minjing was very happy after hearing Xiaochen's words. "You know who you are. I'll sit in the back." Looking at the beetle parked in the yard of the villa, Xiaochen was a little upset. It was too uncomfortable for him to sit in the back because of his figure. "Please get in the car." Chung Minjing directly opened the door. Xiaochen climbed to the back helplessly. "By the way, Minjing, don't you have an Audi A5? When can you drive it here? That's my family's car. I don't usually drive it. I'll drive it next time when I go back to the Chung family." Chung Minjing did feel that Jean Bebe's beetle was not very convenient for her to go out. It was not a big deal when there were only two girls in the car. But now that Xiaochen was here, it was a little crowded. The place where Shin Jingxian asked to meet was a coffee house at the entrance of the No. 1 middle school. Before, Chung Minjing and Shin Jingxian would come here for a drink occasionally. The exam time of the No. 1 middle school and the No. 2 middle school was the same. Therefore, since Shin Jingxian had nothing to do tonight, she asked Chung Minjing to come here. Near the No. 1 middle school, Xiaochen did not need to deliberately avoid the master-servant relationship with Chung Minjing. Anyway, he knew many enemies. Following Miss and Jean Bebe, Xiaochen entered the coffee house and saw Shin Jingxian waving at them from a booth. Chapter 86. However, when Shin Jingxian saw that Xiaochen also came, she was obviously a little surprised, but she still nodded to Xiaochen in a friendly manner. Xiaochen took a deep breath. His feelings for Shin Jingxian were very complicated. It could be said that Shin Jingxian was his goddess when he was in No. 1 middle school. Xiaochen also really pursued her, but there was no result. At that time, Xiaochen's way of thinking was completely different from now. He thought that the first young mistress was already in his grasp, so he ignored her. After interacting with her for a long time, Xiaochen realized that she was also a goddess. Now when Xiaochen saw Shin Jingxian, the love in his heart had faded a lot. If there was still a little hope between Miss and him, then Shin Jingxian had already become a stranger to him, and there would be no more intersection in the future. "Minjing, I'm sorry to ask you out so late," Shin Jingxian said apologetically. "It doesn't matter. We have a car anyway. It's convenient to come over." Chung Minjing sat next to Shin Jingxian and held her hand. How is Chun Jingquan's matter? What else can it be? The final conclusion is that it was an accident. Shin Jingxian had no feelings for Chun Jingquan, but she felt a little sorry for him to die so young. "In that case, are you free?" Chung Minjing asked hurriedly. "How can it be so easy?" Shin Jingxian smiled bitterly. "My family asked me to choose Chun Jinpeng. The Chun family also wanted this." "Chun Jinpeng?" Chung Minjing was slightly stunned, and then she remembered the scene when she bought the car before. It turned out that this guy not only got promoted, but also inherited his elder brother's engagement. This person is not as good as Chun Jingquan. That's true, but there's no way. It's the family's decision. Thinking of this, Shin Jingxian had a headache. Forget it. Let's take it one step at a time. How are you now? How are you and Xiaochen? Him? He's doing well. He's living a better life than me. He just transferred to another school. And he's already hooked up with the campus belle of number 2 middle school. Cheng Minjing gave Xiaochen a sarcastic look. However, after reading the menu, Cheng Minjing found that she seemed to be playing the lute to a cow. At this moment, Xiaochen and Jean Bebe were sitting opposite them and studying the menu. Cousin-in-law, this looks delicious. Jean Bebe pointed at it and murmured something to Xiaochen. This one is not bad, right? Xiaochen pointed to another place and said. Cheng Minjing was speechless. These two guys were really foodies. They could even discuss what was delicious and what was not in the cafe. Shen Jingxian was a little surprised too. After Xiaochen entered the cafe, he had been studying the menu with Jean Bebe, after nodding at her politely at the beginning. Was it still the Xiaochen she knew? In the past, whenever Xiaochen saw her, his attention would be focused on her, including the basketball match in number 1 middle school. But today, in fact, she was not disappointed. Shen Jingxian did not have any feelings for Xiaochen. She did not have any feelings for Xiaochen in the past, and she would not have any now. But she found the change of Xiaochen unbelievable. If she hadn't seen Xiaochen selling breakfast on the morning market street, Shen Jingxian would have thought that Xiaochen was playing cool and ignoring her intentionally in order to attract her attention. Shen Jingshuan's weird eyes made Cheng Minjing somewhat misunderstand. She also felt that Xiaochen and Jean Bebe were very impolite. They were here to study delicious food? What were they thinking? Ahem. Bebe Xiaochen, be careful. This is not your home. There are outsiders here. Don't be so humiliating. Cheng Minjing reminded them. It's fine. Sister Jingxian is not an outsider anyway. After saying that, Jean Bebe continued studying and made a guess. Cousin-in-law, look, this steak is not bad. It's alright, Minjing. Bebe is right. We are not outsiders. What do you want to eat today? It's my treat. Shen Jingxian smiled. Then she lowered her voice. Right, why did Bebe call him cousin-in-law? Bebe likes to joke around. It's not like you don't know that. Cheng Minjing's face turned slightly red as she shrugged. You have feelings for him? Seeing Cheng Minjing's bashful look, Shen Jingxian was somewhat surprised. Of course not. How is that possible? He was the young master of the Xiao family before. And I didn't even like him. Now he is just a servant. He doesn't deserve me at all. Cheng Minjing hurried to deny it. Shen Jingxian smiled. She was about to say something else when her phone suddenly rang. Taking out her phone, Shen Jingshuan's face slightly changed. It's Chen Jinping. Take it. I can't turn him down, can I? Cheng Minjing suddenly thought of herself in the past. At that time, Xiaochen didn't call her. Sometimes, she actually looked forward to his call. Looking at Chen Jinping's pursuit of Shen Jingxian, it was simply a world of difference. It fell back into my hands. You used to ignore me. Now, I'll make you never forget me for the rest of your life. Hello, Jinping, what's the matter? Shen Jingshuan's voice was always so warm. Even if she didn't like Chen Jinping, her tone was still very comfortable. Jingxian, where are you? I'm coming to find you. I'll give you a surprise. Chen Jinping had just bought a car and was about to show it off. In the past, he didn't have a car at all. He only had an old sports car that his dead brother gave him. The property rights didn't belong to him. Now that he finally had his own car, he was going to take Shen Jingxian for a ride. Ah, you're coming to find me now? Shen Jingxian was slightly stunned. She didn't expect that Chen Jinping would also come. I'm drinking coffee with my friends outside. That's great. I'll pay the bill. Who's there? Although Chen Jinping knew that Shen Jingxian didn't want him to come, he still said shamelessly. His biggest characteristic was that he was shameless. When he was Xiaochen's subordinate, how could he not be shameless? This, Cheng Minjing, Jean Bebe and Xiaochen. Shen Jingxian had no choice but to say. She hoped that he would be embarrassed after hearing Xiaochen's name and not come again. Aha, my former boss is also here. Then I should go. Hearing Xiaochen's name, Chen Jinping became more confident. He was going to humiliate Xiaochen. The coffee house near the school, right? Wait for me. I'll be there soon. All right. Shen Jingxian smiled bitterly. She had no choice but to agree. Holding the phone, she looked at Cheng Minjing and Xiao Chen apologetically and awkwardly. Chen Jinping said that he would pay the bill. What do you think? Cheng Minjing frowned. It was not easy for her to have a party with her best friend. If an outsider joined, a lot of things would be difficult to say. Of course, she had already regarded Xiao Chen as one of her own. He was just a valet, so she could ignore him. However, he was her best friend's fiancé after all. Therefore, Cheng Minjing did not dare to cross the line. She simply nodded slightly. Jean Bebe, on the other hand, did not care at all. Of course he's paying. Great. I was discussing delicious food with my cousin-in-law just now and didn't order, because I was afraid that it would cost us money. It's great that a rich guy is here. Tell him to be careful when he comes. Don't die like his brother, Xiao Chen said casually. Shen Jingshuan's phone was still on. On the other side, Chen Jinping was a bit pissed when he heard what Jean Bebe said. Do you think I'm a rich guy? However, when he heard what Xiao Chen said, he was so angry that he almost smashed the phone. Xiao Chen, you brought this upon yourself, yet you still dare to threaten me? Just wait and see how I humiliate you. Jean Bebe nodded and said in agreement, that's right. Don't die in a car accident. I'm waiting for him to pay the bill. Chen Jinping almost wanted to kill Jean Bebe and Xiao Chen. Alright, come over. We'll wait for you here. Shen Jingxian did not repeat what Jean Bebe and Xiao Chen had said, but Chen Jinping must have heard it. Tell Xiao Chen to wait for me. Chen Jinping said, gnashing his teeth. Chen Jinping's voice was very loud. Shen Jingxian believed that Xiao Chen could hear it too. She hung up the phone helplessly and looked at Xiao Chen, only to find that he was still studying the menu with Jean Bebe, as if nobody else was there. Shen Jingxian found it hard to understand Xiao Chen's mentality at the moment. He had lost his backer, and he did not have any combat ability. But he was still so happy as Cheng Minjing's manservant. He offended Chen Jinping, but he still did not care. How strong was this person? Very soon Chen Jinping arrived. When he saw Xiao Chen, his eyes were spurting fire. He almost went forward to kick Xiao Chen, but when he thought that his fiancée, Shen Jingxian, was still next to him, he held back his anger. After all, Shen Jingxian did not like violence. However, when Chen Jinping saw that the table had been occupied by the four of them, he looked a bit awful. There was no place for him to sit. Jinping, you're here. Please take a seat. Xiao Chen pointed at the empty space beside the table and said in the manner of a boss, I'm very happy to hear that you've come to invite me, your boss, to dinner. Shen Jingxian was dazed for a moment. Why is Xiao Chen still acting the same way as before? Could it be that he wasn't afraid of Chen Jinping and Chao Yuliang? Cousin-in-law, is this your underling? Hey brother Chen, I want to eat this and this. Jean Bebe pointed at the menu and ordered crazily. She ordered all the delicious dishes that she and Xiao Chen had studied before. Chen Jinping did not know what to say. At this moment, he could not say that he was not here to invite them. Could he? It was even more impossible for him to turn around and leave. He still wanted to build a relationship with Shen Jingxian. Therefore, he could only pretend to be a gentleman and snapped his fingers at the waiter. Waiter, give me an extra chair. Also, give me 2 of the dishes that this lady has ordered. Jinping, you are indeed different now that you are a rich man. Xiao Chen patted Chen Jinping's shoulder, as if he were teaching him earnestly. Haha, it's not as good as you, Xiao Chen. I'm told that you're living with your fiancé. You must feel great every day, don't you? Chen Jinping did not forget to make fun of Xiao Chen's identity as a manservant. It's all right. Xiao Chen nodded in a profound manner. So to speak, you've already woken up to Cheng Minjing? Seeing Xiao Chen's self-satisfied face, Chen Jinping sneered in his heart. You idiot. You wouldn't have survived until now if you hadn't been the eldest son of the Xiao family. Chapter 87. Didn't you see that Jean Bebe calls me her cousin-in-law? Xiao Chen said gloatingly. Cheng Minjing slightly frowned. Xiao Chen is not so silly at home. What's wrong with him today? How can you say something like that? She couldn't help but cough, hinting Xiao Chen not to talk nonsense. It was not that Cheng Minjing looked down on Xiao Chen. but that she was afraid that the Chung family would hear what she said. Wouldn't it be the same as harming Xiaochen? However, when Qin Jinping heard the cough, Qin Jinping almost burst into laughter. So this big brother has been dwelling in his own fantasy, hasn't he? Cousin-in-law, how can you believe what Jean Bebe says? I'm told that the girl likes to trick people for fun. She can't be more silly. In Qin Jinping's eyes, Xiaochen must have been mentally ill because he couldn't take the blow. Come to think of it, a high and mighty young master suddenly became the servant of a goddess. In order to survive, he had to go to the morning market to sell breakfast. With Xiaochen's arrogant temperament, it would be strange if he didn't go crazy. Not to mention Xiaochen, even Qin Jinping felt that he couldn't take it anymore. Thinking that Xiaochen was a little crazy, Qin Jinping couldn't be bothered to lower himself to his level. Haha, then I'll have to congratulate young Master Xiao. No matter what, you were my boss in the past. Now that you and I have both gotten a beauty and realized our dreams, it can be considered a happy occasion. However, you seemed to like Jingxian before, didn't you? It's over now. If you want to eat the meat, you have to give me the soup. Qin Jinping's move was indeed vicious. In his eyes, he and Xin Jingxian were worthy of the name, but the relationship between Xiaochen and Cheng Minjing was not reliable at all. If Cheng Minjing refuted him, it would be a huge blow to Xiaochen. Chances were that Xiaochen would be sent to a mental hospital directly. Of course, the move did not seem to work. Cheng Minjing frowned, but did not say anything. Therefore, he brought up the old story again, and mentioned that Xiaochen had pursued Xin Jingxian before. In the past, Qin Jinping was Xiaochen's little brother. Naturally, he knew what had happened between Xiaochen, Cheng Minjing, and Xin Jingxian. He knew that Cheng Minjing was brooding over this matter. At this time, it was estimated that Cheng Minjing would be very unhappy. In the past, she couldn't do anything to Xiaochen, but now it was different. She was Xiaochen's master. When she went back, she could torture Xiaochen to vent her anger. It's hard to say. Maybe you and your brother are dead. Then won't I have a chance? Xiaochen said, as if it was a matter of course. At this moment, Qin Jinping did not feel angry at all. Instead, he felt deep sympathy for him. In his eyes, Xiaochen was already a fool. His delusions had reached a very serious level. Normally speaking, it was impossible for Xiaochen not to know his own situation. But his current performance was completely unlike that of a young master in dire straits. It was as if he still thought that he was the young Master Xiao from back then. If this wasn't living in a fantasy and illusion, then what was? Therefore, Qin Jinping was too lazy to say anything. What common language could he have with a fool and a psychopath? If he didn't know that you were mocking him, it was simply playing the lute to a cow. Thinking of this, Qin Jinping sat down and simply ignored Xiaochen. Instead, he shifted his target to Xin Jingxian. Jingxian, your coffee is cold, right? Let me get you another cup. No, thank you. Although Xin Jingxian didn't like Qin Jinping, her tone was still soft. Hearing it, Qin Jinping's bones softened. Xiaochen also took a deep breath. Xin Jingshuan's voice was always so beautiful. However, in the past, Xiaochen could fantasize about it, but now, Xiaochen, don't be so pessimistic. You are a cultivator. Elder Heaven Ancestor's disappointed voice sounded. I really feel ashamed for your apprentice. Elder Heaven Ancestor, if I were a martial artist with inner force level 7 or 8, I would have no problem marrying 2 wives. But now, you have to speak according to your strength. You were already so strong when you first started cultivating. Xiaochen was speechless. Well, I have high expectations for you. I hope my apprentice can become a dragon. Elder Heaven Ancestor said awkwardly. Qin Jinping had come here to show off, but Xiaochen, his only target, did not cooperate with him at all. Besides, Qin Jinping did not feel any sense of achievement when he showed off to an idiot. As for Cheng Minjing and Jean Bebe, Qin Jinping would be courting death if he showed off to them. While he was feeling upset, a red-haired man in a golden jacket and a big gold chain sat down on the seat next to him. He put a Porsche car key on the table and mumbled, "It's hard to park a car in this area. Don't scratch my Porsche." The red-haired man was obviously not a student nearby. He was here to pick up girls. However, Someone really went to talk to him. Two girls in revealing clothes sat next to the red-haired man one after the other. Brother, buy me a cup of coffee. Brother, you are so handsome. Let's be friends. Chen Jinping finally realized that he had driven his Porsche Panamera to show off to Shen Jingxian. However, he had forgotten about it because of Xiao Chen's interference. Therefore, he hurried to put his Porsche car key on the table. It's indeed hard to park a car in this area. I couldn't park my car until I found a few spots. Right, Jingxian, can I take you for a ride later? Well, Shen Jingxian did not want to go out with Chen Jinping. However, when she thought of her family's arrangement, she could only sigh. Let's take a walk nearby. At this moment, the waiter served the dishes that Jean Bebe had ordered. The coffee house near the school was actually a Western restaurant. The food was not bad and was quite authentic. It was very popular among the students in number 1 middle school. Jean Bebe was not a student in number 1 middle school before. It was her first time here. She saw that the pictures on the menu were not bad, so she ordered a lot of dishes. She did not expect that they would be so delicious. Cousin-in-law, try this. It's delicious. Okay. Xiao Chen also picked up a dish and started eating. Chen Jinping looked at Xiao Chen and shook his head in disdain. Not only is he mentally ill, but he also has megalorexia. Cheng Minjing looked at Xiao Chen, whose mouth was covered with grease, and slightly frowned. Xiao Chen was not like this at home. When he came out, he was like a reincarnated starving ghost. How embarrassing! Jean Bebe pointed at a place not far away and said, "Cousin-in-law, bring me that lobster." Okay. The lobster is delicious. Xiao Chen took the lobster. Okay. Jean Bebe started to eat with big mouthfuls. Xiao Chen was very satisfied with Jean Bebe's cooperation. In other words, Jean Bebe's character had always been like this. However, Xiao Chen was suspicious of everyone now, including Chen Jinping, who was a traitor. He was just pretending to be a fool to numb this guy. However, the first mistress was very smart. She soon realized that something was wrong. Was Xiao Chen pretending? It was really possible. However, what was the benefit of him pretending to be like this? Of course, Cheng Minjing did not expect that Xiao Chen was guarding against Chen Jinping. The one who was most surprised was Shen Jingxian. Xiao Chen today was totally different from the Xiao Chen in her memory. Xiao Chen was arrogant and domineering in the past. Today, it was not that Xiao Chen was not arrogant, but Xiao Chen today made her feel very strange. Although Xiao Chen admitted that he liked her, Shen Jingxian did not sense Xiao Chen's love at all. This was a girl's intuition. Naturally, Chen Jinping could not sense it. However, Shen Jingxian felt that Xiao Chen seemed to have ignored her. Xiao Chen, you haven't eaten for days? You must be very hungry. Chen Jinping finally could not help but mock him. I don't have money. I don't have money. How much can I earn from selling fried dough sticks every day? Since I have my little brother treating me, I should eat more. Xiao Chen said vaguely as he ate. Thank you for your hospitality. Chen Jinping shook his head, somewhat bored. After a while, Xiao Chen and Jean Bebe finally finished eating. He stood up and went to pay the bill. He was afraid that Xiao Chen and Jean Bebe would continue eating. Not because he was afraid that it would be a waste of money, because the fried dough sticks did not cost much at all. What he was worried about was that it would be a waste of time. He was planning to go for a ride with Shen Jingxian. Cousin-in-law, look. This is the key to the Porsche that I've been dreaming of. Jean Bebe picked up Chen Jinping's car key and observed it carefully. Then she accidentally dropped it on the ground. Bebe, don't move it. What if you break it? Cheng Minjing scolded her. Jean Bebe stuck out her tongue in embarrassment. Then, she bent down to pick up the car key and put it back on the table. Chen Jinping paid the bill and picked up the car key. Then, he rose and walked to the door of the cafe, while Shen Jingxian, Cheng Minjing, Jean Bebe, and Xiao Chen followed him. After they left the cafe, Chen Jinping pressed the key in his hand coolly. He was waiting for the Panamera next to him to blink. But out of his expectation, the Panamera did not respond at all. Chen Jinping was dazed for a moment. He pressed the key to unlock the Panamera again, but there was still no response from the car. Chen Jinping grew anxious. Damn it. Is it out of battery? After that, he pressed the key for a few more times. However, the indicator light on the remote control was blinking, and the car did not respond at all. In desperation, Chen Jinping checked the remote control carefully and found that there was nothing wrong with it. He was so anxious that he was sweating profusely. It was the first time that he had asked Shen Jingxian to go for a ride. If there was something wrong with the car, what was the point of going for a ride? Chen Jinping looked at Shen Jingxian awkwardly. Maybe it's the signal interference. At this time, the red-haired guy who had been sitting on the side came out with 2 prostitutes in his arms. He was holding the Porsche key in his hand. When he walked to the door, he saw that Chen Jinping was pressing the key, but the car did not move no matter how hard he pressed it. He was stunned for a moment and thought, is this guy pretending to be cool too? Huh, where's my Porsche? It might have been driven away by my buddy. The red-haired guy said to the 2 prostitutes in his arms, forget it. Let's take a taxi. That you're tuning in to the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.